I have spent the last 365 days building multiple viral Roblox games, and I documented the entire process into a single video. You'll get to see my progress from start to finish, along with all the crazy games that I have made. So grab your snacks, sit back, and enjoy the movie. So it's day 1, and I have to do some planning. I have a few game ideas, but I need to choose the correct one that will make it to the front page. Luckily, I'm a YouTuber and I know how to make videos blow up, so choosing the right idea shouldn't be a problem. Back in 2024, I made a little prototype of a boxing simulator and I want to turn it into a reality. I spent the rest of my day reaching out to as many developers to build a dedicated team. In reality, only my friend offered to help, but this is just the beginning. Here we go, it was day 2, and I hopped straight into Blender and modeled some punching bags and treadmills. Each piece of the equipment comes with a level, going up to level 4. These models look bland, so I brought them to life by adding colors. It was quite a time-consuming task. I have mixed opinions on whether I should use these ones which are hanging from an obstacle or these ones which are more simple. I will import these in Studio and decide which ones I'll actually use. I went with the bags that were hanging because they will fit the map that I'm going to make. I started by creating these little platforms and placed the training equipment on top. I didn't even have a map layout, so I was pretty much just freestyling. I was going to make the usual layout that you see in simulators where the fountain is in the middle, but I got a way better idea. After around 2 hours, this is how the map looks, and I know, it's nothing crazy, but this thing took me ages to make. Of course, I forgot to anchor some of these parts, but it looks overall really good. I added a semicircle, and with that, the day was over. I started by going back in Blender and making some map assets. I made a variety of trees and also colored them. I ended up not texturing these trees in Blender because it's easier to adjust the color when the model is in Studio. However, I did texture this tree trunk and I also made a few grass models. I also made this little sign that is going to guide you around the map. Then I added a bunch of trees and the map was starting to look good. I added more places and overall improved the map. This was it for the day. Making a proper map takes a lot of time. Once again, my day started with Blender, and this time I made some buildings. I made these buildings as colorful as possible, and I'm quite satisfied with how they look. Now it was time to expand the map, and I did that by adding sidewalks. I left the building for tomorrow. Something is wrong with the lighting. I adjusted the time of day. It solved the problem, but it was only a temporary fix. By day 6, I had managed to create a whole city. It even has cars. In my game, there are going to be bosses that you'll have to fight. So I hopped back on Blender and made a platform for them. It turned out pretty good. I also created a billboard UI for the bosses, which will let you know how much strength you need in order to fight. I hopped back on Blender and made a portal. This won't be the only world that I will be making. For the portal, I made a similar platform to the other one I used for the spawn. I added many assets, but it looks like I forgot to anchor them. From day 8 to 12, I worked on creating this cool boxing ring, and let me show you how I did it. I started by hopping on Blender and making the ring itself. Texturing took some time, but at least it looks good. I'm halfway done with the boxing ring. A lot of the parts are going to be made in Studio, but in Blender I made the ring and some seats. I had a lot of optimization issues with this model, but eventually I fixed them and started making a building. Making these seats align perfectly was also quite painful. I barely had any time on this day because of school and other real-life activities. I created this weird pattern to fill these gaps, and to be honest, it doesn't look that bad. By the end of day 11, this ring was fully scripted and set up with custom lighting. I want you guys to be a part of this game, so I asked for your usernames in my Discord server and added a bunch of your avatars as fans. So I'm done building the boxing ring and my scripter is done scripting. Here's how it looks, and there is an NPC that is constantly trying to damage you, but you can fight back. When you win, he will be kicked out of the ring, and you'll receive this currency. You know how every simulator has pets? Well, I'm breaking the cycle. Instead of pets, I will make boxing gloves. Between days 13 and 25, I tried to make all the necessary gloves for the first world. This wasn't easy, just look at my glove models. After what felt like ages, I got the perfect model that fits on all types of characters. There is also a golden and charged version. I'm learning on how to use the new software because I want these gloves to look really good. This is only the first model. I have to make around 25. Dealing with each model took ages because there were issues with the mesh and I didn't know how to fix them. I was already running out of ideas, but I managed to make more models. I'm around halfway done with the gloves, but it's only for the first world. So I will continue on modeling gloves tomorrow. I'm so stupid. I spent all this time configuring these gloves, adding effects, and I just realized when you join the game, the glove is literally backwards. These gloves were starting to get really annoying, but I managed to invert them and make way more models. I did most of the texturing off camera, but here's me adding them in Blender. One of the last steps was to make icons, so enjoy the time lapse. After days of hard work, I was done. I could finally move on to something that is a little more fun. The way that you'll be able to obtain these gloves is going to be through crates. I needed to design a base model that I will use to create a variety of designs. This is the version I went with. It's simple and it looks good. I modified the crates to match them with the glove models. And I'm done with these crates. This one is the basic, here's the devil one, the cactus, and elemental. They will also have a nice animation and particle effects, but I'll leave that to my scripter. As you can see, some UI elements are starting to appear. I got a designer to make some UIs, but let me just tell you, it didn't go as planned. A lot of my days got wasted. Day 31 was special because I added leaderboards and they're not for aesthetics. Each month, the top 100 players will get special rewards that I'm going to make a little bit later. I spent the rest of my day making adjustments and adding NPCs that will dance on the top of the board. I started my day by configuring all these crates. The price is just the placeholder, later it'll be adjusted. Now back to one of the main things in my game, bosses. I tried to make custom characters in Blender, but I'm going to be honest, it was glitchy and not fun. However, I was able to make a couple of characters. Only after finishing, I realized I couldn't make them function, and all this work was for nothing. World 1 was nearly done, except for all the features that will be added later. I got back on Blender and made training equipment for the next world. Can you guess what it's going to be, based on these assets? It was the next day, and I had already made the layout. Now, it just needs improvements. The Archimedes plugin was really useful to make these platforms. And in the next clip, I will be fully done with this world. I'm pretty much done with the second world, and it's the gym. There's the weight racks, the bench press, and nearly all of the equipment is done. You can go ahead and run and punch bags. I was originally going to place this gym on the ground, but I got a better idea. I placed it on top of a building, so you can look at the first world from above. I was recently on vacation, and this is the exact view I had from the hotel's gym. I wanted to make all the worlds as soon as possible, so I made training equipment for World 3. You can already guess the theme by looking at these bags. I'm done with the wooden equipment, and this time I spent way too much time texturing these assets. But in the end, I got this nice wooden texture, which looks good. I'm sick right now, so my voice is a bit off. Between days 48 and 54, I wanted to fully complete the third world. I started by modeling some assets, like these hills, rocks, and even a path. Now that I think about it, I could have made that in studio. My life would have been easier. This is how they look after texturing. You can clearly tell that I'm making a forest world. I started by making the layout and adding some paths that will connect all the places together. Then I added trees and plants to make the map feel more alive. In the next day, the map was already looking better. I was on that 6 AM grind. All I needed to do was add some final touches. These mushrooms were perfect. The forest world is done, and just like the playground, you can view it from the above. Let me go ahead and go into free cam and show you around. These are the bags, here are the treadmills, and there will be a bunch of bosses. I'm also rebuilding the gym area because I forgot to add many features. I don't know why I sounded so depressed there. Anyways, I made a platform for World 2 crates. Once again, I hopped back on Blender and made 4 gym themed crates. This muscle one is definitely my favorite. However, I had some issues with the mesh that needed to be fixed. I might as well make all the crates for World 3. The first one is going to be covered with leaves or leaves. I don't know which one is correct. These are the forest ones, and here are the gym ones. They all have cool animations, but because I'm using FreeCam, I cannot see it. I forgot to mention, I also made this relic. They will be scattered across all worlds, and in return, you will be blessed with a boost. I'm back to making gloves. This process was so time consuming. Each glove was really hard to make, and I was slowly running out of ideas. But out of nowhere, I got a great idea of making gym gloves as lifting plates. I could easily create 4 designs, but for each world I need around 16. If I include golden and charged, that's 48 in total. Yo, let's go, I'm finally done with these gloves, but they're only for the second world. Also, this glove kind of looks like me in real life, you know, I got that 8-pack, these muscles, and the killer back. Anyways, I will probably make more, or just start configuring these. Configuring was also a pain. World 2 gloves should be done. Once again, I was back on Blender, modeling gloves. In the meantime, another developer had made a golden machine, and it's going to be located in World 2. The idea situation got so bad that I was making anything that popped inside of my mind. I don't even know what to call this. I was finally done, and for some models I added the glow effect. It looks pretty cool. Now it was time to make some icons. In studio, I did all of the configuring, and after more than a week of work, I'm done with over 160 glove models. Throughout the whole day, I made many hoverboard models, including the ones that will be awarded to leaderboard players. I did most of the texturing in Blender, but for some models I added the reflective material. I didn't even know they exist. The next step was to create a bunch of icons. Okay, so to be honest, I don't know how I achieved this effect, but these leaderboard hoverboards have a nice shine. However, if I view them from a different angle, they kind of look bad. I think I'm using some kind of reflective material, which makes this effect. It's a new day, and I started working on the 4th world. This will probably be the last one that I will make. I have a really good idea, you'll see why in a minute. I added a bunch of mountains across the entire map. It already looks a lot better. So the idea that I was talking about is making a yacht with luxury training equipment and many more features. However, I didn't know making yacht models would be so difficult. So I'm done with the yacht model. I don't even know how you pronounce this word. Obviously, it's not finished, so I will add many details like windows in Studio. I don't want to tell you how many times I needed to remake this mesh. It took me days because of glitches like these. My scripter had a wonderful idea of animating birds, so I hopped on Blender and made 2 bird models. Okay, so my scripter is done scripting the birds, and they look pretty cool. Also, our designer is done with the game icons, so it's time to start configuring them. I meant importing instead of configuring them. Anyways, in day 73, I modeled the chest, potions and gold. Okay, it's really late, but I'll show you what this chest is for. As you can see, I'm on the island, and when I go ahead and open this chest, it'll open up and give me some rewards. You might be wondering, how did I even get here? Well, I won't show you because this is a secret. It was around 1 AM when I recorded this, so that's why I sounded so sleepy. From day 78 to 80, I created training equipment for this new world. I tried to make each model as luxurious as possible. I don't really want to place them on the floor, so I created these little platforms. Then I hopped back on Blender, made a jacuzzi and a sofa. I love how this area is starting to turn out, definitely one of my favorite builds. I continued on by creating a platform for bosses and did the rest off camera. It was time to model gloves again. I started by creating all the necessary ones for World 4, but something unexpected happened. I'm done with these gloves, and the modeling process was quite rough. My Blender crashed, then my computer crashed, and I also lost connection a few times. I'm trying to get this game out as soon as possible. Yeah, this process is taking way too much time. I made some exclusive gloves off camera and imported them in Studio. I also needed to make icons for each one of these gloves. I remember the next day I had an exam, but instead of studying, I'm out here configuring gloves. I hate doing this part. If someone wants to do it instead of me, hit me up on Discord. Of course, I will pay too, but you need to be able to record as well. All that was left to do is to make crates, and I would be able to say that World 4 is fully completed. And just like that, I'm done with all of these crates, and they will be obtainable in World 4. Except for this one, which is going to be an exclusive one. I tried using PBR textures, which will hopefully make it stand out. I imported all of these models in Studio, and World 4 was finally completed. On day 92, I realized my game needs to have group rewards, so I hopped back on Blender and modeled each chest. Well, I was done with most of the modeling. All there was left to do was to add textures. For the final days, I got nearly all the required resources from other developers, including sound effects, models, and UI. There were many problems with people not delivering their work in time, but I don't want to point anyone out. The final 3 days were spent by testing the entire game, fixing bugs and balancing all the systems, adding all the required game passes, configuring rewards, and overall improving the entire game. It's day 100 and I can finally say that my game is completed. My game is quite grindy, so it's hard to complete. You have to progress through 4 worlds, prestige, and obtain the best boxing gloves. But what if you manage to complete it? Well, there's nothing really to do, and I will fix that by creating a new world. I hopped on a 3D modeling software called Blender. I have said this sentence so many times, Blender should sponsor me. Anyways, I designed the training equipment for World 5. Each piece of the equipment comes with a level, going all the way up to level 5. I tried to make these bag models as colorful as possible. And just like that, I'm done with all of these new bag models, and you can probably already guess what the new world is going to be. For higher levels, I used higher quality textures with these particle effects. I'm also going to make some parts stand out by making them glow. I went with a similar aesthetic for the treadmills, which are used to train stamina. I applied the same colors as the bag models because each level has its own color scheme. Most of the texturing was done in Blender, but for some models I used Substance Painter. I'm done with these treadmills that'll be for the new world, and you can see that there is a whole army of them. Also, this is not the final look. I will add some special glowy effects in Studio. I mainly added the glow effect and moved on to creating the 5th world. I had an idea of making a floating city that is connected with chains. However, this island looks bland, so I added some rocks. I hopped back on Blender and created a futuristic wall. Let me show you how it turned out. This sort of reminds me of ancient ruins, but it also fits the space theme. I placed these walls across the entire island to make it more enclosed. Then I added more assets, like these cracks and grass models. I created all kinds of paths and made a section for crates. I was trying to make this world look futuristic and cartoony at the same time. I'm sort of done with the space world layout. Here will be the training equipment, right here will be all the crates, and here you'll be able to fight all the bosses. This probably will get changed because I'm going to add more features that you'll see later in this video. But for now, I can't think of anything else to really add. If you're wondering why the UI looks completely different from my game, well, it's because this is a testing server and I'm from the future. I got back on Blender and made more assets that would fit the new world. I made a satellite and a tower. I made some space assets that I might not even use, but how can I know if I never try? They ended up fitting the map very well and were a nice addition. I made sure to add some rocks and decorate these small islands. And just like that, I'm done with the 5th world, which is space. It looks good, but it could look a lot better with proper lighting. I'm not a lighting expert, but I try to apply a space atmosphere. This could be also used for Halloween. The overworld looks pretty spooky. In this new world, there are no boxing gloves, so I hopped on Blender and started modeling. Coming up with unique designs was a pretty difficult task, but I managed to create over 12 different designs. And just like that, I'm done modeling all of these new gloves, and they truly took a while to make. It's been around 2 days since I started, and I still have to texture these. Keep in mind I have to get out updates as soon as possible, so this is really stressful. Texturing is an even longer process, so it's a really big grind to get a new update out in time. This right here is probably one of my favorite designs. But now I need to make icons, so enjoy the time lapse. Let's go, I'm finally done with all of these gloves, and they took way too long, and the reason for that is that I made a big mistake. I accidentally renamed all the left gloves as the right ones, and the right ones as the left ones. I basically had to reconfigure nearly all of these gloves, and it took so much time. Looks like I need to go back to kindergarten. Anyways, I opened the new script and configured these freshly added gloves. I got the items, but they can be only obtainable through crates, and I had none. So once again, I hopped on Blender and created 4 designs. Some were more complicated to make, while others were pretty easy. So these are the final crate models that I'm going to use. This one is the space station, here is the crystal, alien, and also the futuristic. I textured the crystal crate in Substance Painter, and let me show you how it turned out. This is the final result of the crates I made, and it'll also be their rarity order. They don't have animations just yet, but they're on the map, and that's all that matters. It's time to change up the shop. This exclusive crate has to go, so let me make a new one. But first, let me create all the necessary glove models. As you can probably tell, they're related to popular superheroes. And just like that, all the textures have been added. I wish this process would be this fast in real life. I also made a crate for all of these exclusive gloves, but I did that in school, so I couldn't get proper footage without getting caught. I made all the necessary icons. I'm pretty sure I did this at school as well, but all the configuring was done at home. I have traveled from the past because it's update 1 and we still have the old UI, but I have given myself every single glove in the entire game to showcase these new gloves. Here is the spider glove, the hammer glove, the super glove, one of my favorites, and my all-time favorite, the huge bad glove. It literally looks insane. These crates will also appear in special offers, so get them while you can. For one of the final editions, me and my scripter created these player upgrades, and I scattered them across the entire game. Now there are going to be a bunch of upgrades scattered across all worlds. And here is the first one. You're able to get a 10% golden cup boost for just 5 golden cups. These upgrades are really useful, and some of them are really overpowered. And once you buy it, this nice animation plays. So here we go, it's day 1, and I have to come up with a great idea. I thought about what players like. Usually it's intensity, satisfaction, and most importantly, fun. After some time, I got the perfect idea of making a game where you blend items. It meets all the categories, and as far as I know, there isn't anything like this on Roblox. I wasted no time and jumped straight into a new base plate. In 7 days, this might become a viral game. I made the first item, which is going to be an apple. I choose to use the stud style. Once I was done, I wrote my first script, which should make the apple explode into millions of pieces. Well, actually only 5. After 5 seconds, this apple should explode. Oh, it did! Yo, it actually worked. This is pretty cool. I didn't know you could do that. I created the billboard UI that'll display the amount of currency that you're going to get. Then I wrote a script that should play some fancy animations. Okay, so I added some visual effects. Now when the fruit explodes, it plays this nice animation. Also, there are some sound effects, but you can't really hear them. I'm missing the main feature, which is the blender, so I made a quick prototype. Here I will be able to put my system to the test. It was the next day, and luckily I found a studio file that uses hinge constraints, and most importantly, they support physics. I wasted no time and implemented it in my script. However, things didn't go as smoothly as I planned. I just finished setting up the blender, but I realized there's a big problem. As you can see, the blade goes through the parts, which is something that I don't want. I wanted to have real physics, so it's actually fun. Also, I have no clue why this part is still floating. I believe this is a way better approach, since my game is about blending items. Speaking of them, I wrote my next script, which will hold all the item information. Then I scripted this function, which will set up and clone the items. I didn't know this at the time, but I made a crucial mistake. You'll see what I mean later. I made my first UI element, which is going to display the amount of currency you have. I took some inspiration from Build an Island. Their UI looks pretty clean. Okay, I'm finally done with the basics. I got myself an apple and I can just throw it in the blender. Then after 5 seconds it should explode and give me some currency. There it is. I also added this animation, which turned out pretty good. Of course, there are still some problems, so let me fix that. Well, instead of fixing, I went straight to building. Each item will have another item that you're going to get after blending the initial item. Get what I mean? If you're confused, you'll understand this a little bit later. In the meantime, I created the new UI for gathered items. Once I was done, I wrote a big script that will handle all the data saving and item cloning. I just got done with the offline system, and let me show you how it works. I got myself a couple of apples that I'll throw in the blender, and as you can see, I have to wait 60 seconds until they blend. But I can just leave the game and do that offline. It's been around 20 seconds, and let me join back. As you can see, the time is way shorter. They will blend in around 20 seconds. Yeah, I forgot to mention that this game uses an offline blending system. Games with this feature are trending right now, so this will definitely increase its chances of going big. I added the weight and variant system. This means that every item can have thousands of unique versions. Creating this took a lot of time. Day 2 was coming to an end. My day started with scripting. Remember the UI I made? Now it was time to make it function. I wrote various types of functions. Okay, so here's what I was able to make. Every time you get a new item, a UI should appear. There it is. As you can see, I got myself a new item, which is the apple juice. It displays this frame, and then I can just click anywhere to continue. This UI only appears if the item hasn't been blended before. Speaking of UIs, I will definitely need more, so I hopped on Photoshop. Once I was there, I designed a simple frame that I can easily reuse. Then I designed the merchant. Here you'll be able to buy the items. I upgraded the blender by adding a beam that acts like a safety border. I got another idea of adding a booster that's connected to the blender. I placed down an NPC that's going to offer you to boost your blender. I also added an animation, so it feels like he's a real player. Now it's time to work on the merchant. I added buttons, text labels, and images. Okay, it's quite late right now, so I have to be a little bit quiet, but I have pretty much set up all these characters thanks to my NPC system. By talking with Josh, you can open the merchant and also have a chat with him. Also, this guy has an animation which looks pretty cool. Whoa, it's already day 4. I got straight to scripting the merchant. Every single second, it's going to send information to the client about how much time is left until the next restock. The system will include a lot of other functions. Hopefully, this works. Let me go up to Josh and let's see if he can sell me some apples. Now the merchant is actually working and I should have enough to buy a few apples. Now they're out of stock, but as you can see, I bought some apples and I can use them in the blender. Yo, I just got a rainbow apple juice. This looks really cool. I scripted the restock function, and there's also a new guy, Meet Bob. He's looking for items and he likes to offer gold. Okay, the seller should work as well. I got myself a lot of items, so let's see how much money can he give. First of all, you're able to tell how much, he doesn't work. Well, this is unexpected. I found a small problem that was probably causing this issue. I don't know what on earth Bob is doing here, but he should work now. I got myself a shadow apple juice and let's see how much it's worth. Okay, it's worth around 15 gold, which is actually quite low. Let's see how much this rainbow one is worth. I'll go ahead and sell it, and I got 120 gold, which isn't that bad. Now let me try selling my whole inventory, and it works, but it's really slow. But I didn't get the gold, there's something wrong. It turns out I forgot to add one function. Once I fixed that, I started building the map. I want to create a big ocean, but there's a problem. The blocks go through the blender, so I used unions to separate them. I faced a lot of problems, like the blender just not working due to these new changes. I ended up re-scripting the blender system. Then I made a UI for the booster. Of course, it won't work on its own, so I wrote some scripts. The booster is halfway done, and using your gold you can make your blender faster for 5 minutes, and the good thing is that it stacks. When you go ahead and boost it, there are nice effects, so it should be pretty satisfying. I'm also trying to make this work in a way where you can upgrade other players' blenders. However, as you can see, it's not fully done. It didn't even take my gold away. I created a new function that's going to display the timer. Once it runs out, you will lose your boost. Hopefully this won't break when there will be a server full of people. This totally did not happen. Anyways, I moved on to creating a sign that will allow you to instantly blend all of your items. Scripting this was relatively easy. While testing, I found a big problem. It's lag. But to be fair, I cloned 100 items at the same time. I was sort of able to fix it, but I still lost around 100 FPS. The map is way too plain, so I created some environment assets. Then using stud blocks, I forged mountains and created hills. At the end of day 4, I was able to finish it, and I do have to say, the view is quite nice. Here we go, it's day 5. The first thing that I made was the UI. Let's see if it works. So I'm done with the map, and it turned out pretty good. I also added these 3 buttons to skip the pain of walking back and forward. You can easily access all of these areas. I also made small improvements and fixed a lot of bugs. While playing, I noticed that the background music can get annoying. So I'm going to create a settings UI. Here you'll be able to change the sound volume and graphics quality. Now this game has a thing called settings. You can adjust the music's volume and also turn on low graphics mode, which will be useful for mobile players. It pretty much just disables all of the shadows. I'm also in the process of adding a shop. Monetization is important, so I'm going to create an exclusive item pack. Scripting the shop took a bit of time, but I was able to reuse some of my old scripts. After adding animations, there was a problem. Icons were glitching out of the frame, and I couldn't find a fix until I stumbled across canvas groups. The shop should be done. Now let me make a tutorial. They might seem useless, however, they're really important. Games have players in all kinds of ages, so everyone should understand what's happening. This flashy arrow should work for everyone. I created the client-sided script that's going to handle the tutorial. The way it works is that each step requires a module that contains all of the information about a certain step. This tutorial took quite a bit of time to script, but let me prove you that it was worth it. Everything is made in a way where even a 6-year-old could understand what to do. I got an error. I misspelled E-line in my merchant script. Now it should work. As you walk closer, an arrow appears, but it seems to be overlapping the notification. Once you go ahead and blend the item, you have to wait. Then after that, you sell it and the tutorial is completed. I'm nearly done with the game. I'm just missing the actual items. I spent half of my day crafting new items. I made a bunch of them, including a sports car. For some, I also had to use Blender. Creating a mesh like this in Studio is nearly impossible. For each one of these items, I had to configure them. This is the process that I hate the most. Now that I have some items, I can offer a special deal. The way it's going to work is that a player has 5 minutes to buy this offer before it disappears forever. Even though I have all of these items, I'm missing some for the item pack. I built a battery and other tech-themed items. I'm done with most of the monetization. You're able to purchase currency packs, spend money on a furrower pack which can give you really good items, and also buy this crate. It contains 3 items and the rarest one is this phone. I think this is enough monetization. You don't really want to go overboard with that, but a thing that should be maxed out is the thumbnail. I had an idea of showing items right before they're blended, and this is the final result. It's day 7 and I can finally say that this game is completed. However, when I tested it, all my excitement shattered. All of the physics were set up on the server, which made the game play in slow motion. I was about to release the game, but now it feels like all this hard work was for nothing. Until my friend suggested me a possible fix. In the end, I was able to rewrite this system and save this game. Now let's see if it can hit the front page. I launched ads for 5,000 Robux. I will check out the results tomorrow. I don't know how this happened, but I managed to run 2 ads at the same time. One is in the classic category, and the other one is using the new system. Both of these have a click-through rate around 2%, which isn't bad. But I have gotten way better results, like 3%. This ad has spent only 3 credits, so I'll probably have to check back tomorrow. It's the next day and my game has 10 active players and a really bad like ratio. But on the bright side, it has almost 5,000 visits, which is pretty good. The stats are really good. The average playtime is 14.5 minutes. Let's head over to monetization to figure out how much Robux this game made. In the last 72 hours, I made 280 Robux, which is really low. Hey, it's day 1 and everything starts with a good plan. While I was in my 3 AM thoughts, I came up with the idea of growing rocks. This fits perfectly with the new grow garden trend and could attract many players. I already have a crazy thumbnail idea, which I will reveal later. The first thing that I always do is change up the lighting. The default one looks so dead. This is already much better. Then I built a plot template, which will be used to store all of the rocks. I wrote my first script. It should look for a plot and assign it to a player. I took this system from one of my other games, which has a similar concept. It displays your profile picture and username to everyone in the server. This is where all the growing will happen and everyone will have their own plot. Let me upgrade the plot by adding a light. After all, this game is about growing ores. I designed the first one, which is going to be copper. It will grow into a rock that will produce these little copper ores. I need some kind of currency, so I asked AI to generate me a vector. Normally I would hire someone, but I'm poor right now. Yo, this icon is not that bad. AI has gotten a lot better. I wonder if there will be a day where AI will be able to generate the full game. That would be crazy. That would be cool, because I'm tired of writing these scripts. I scripted the main system. It'll handle all of the data saving. It's been a minute, but I think I'm done with the placement system. When you pull out an item, there's this green highlight that indicates that you're on the plot. There's also this blue circle that helps you know where you're going to put the item. I think I found the bug. Let me fix this. Yeah, I'm also in the process of scripting a placement system. It's not as easy as it looks. Next up, I made a shovel. Now that I think about it, I should have made a pickaxe. And just like that, I'm done with the shovel. It's pretty cool. Let me show you how it works. So you can plant as many ores as you want, and then using the shovel, you can destroy them. I tried to make this as satisfying as possible. It should work. Now I scripted the function that'll grow the ores. I want to make it grow offline, since that is the main reason why these grow a garden games are so popular. After a couple hours, I think I'm done with the growing system. Let me place this copper, and as you can see, it gradually increases its size. When it's fully grown, it starts to produce these copper ores that I can collect. I got one that's nearly 0.5 kilograms. It's the end of day 1, so I will head to sleep. Here we go, it's day 2. Little did I know, I was about to enter a minefield of bugs. For now, I continued on scripting the growing system. Currently, it's not growing offline. Okay, the offline growing system should work now. Let me go ahead and fill my plot with all of these rocks. Then I'll leave the game and wait around 30 seconds. As you can see, all of these ores are fully grown. Well, there is a bug where they all grow at the same time, which I don't want, but I'll probably fix this later. Leaving this for the future wasn't a good idea. Anyways, the default proximity prompt looks ugly, so I designed the custom one. Now this game uses custom proximity prompts, and I think they're way better than the default ones. Custom prompts have better visibility, and you can easily customize them. I also added this little highlight when you get close to an ore. I stole this idea from Grow a Garden. It's a small but useful feature. I had also finished scripting the shovel. I think this explosion is a nice touch. I used to play fish, and there were custom events that got me really hyped. I want to do something similar in this game, so I thought about some ideas and configured them. Then I wrote a script that displays a notification when a new event appears. After 2 years of developing, I just found about clouds. These will be useful for later. I opened the good old toolbox and found a skybox that will fit the acid event. I'm done with one of the events, and it's the toxic one, but there's a problem. It looks like a horror game, and this is not supposed to be one. I probably have to change up the weather and make this more colorful. Well, it is sort of a toxic wasteland, but this is too much. I think I'm going to have nightmares. In the morning, I came up with mutations. They will appear randomly and will make your ores way more valuable. Of course, I can't forget about scripting. Nothing works without code. Looks like I was testing something, but this whole time I was muted. Sometimes I forget about how stupid I really am. I believe I was trying to showcase the mutations. There were some problems with the snowy mutation, so I fixed that, and now it works. However, there were other problems. I honestly don't know what to do with this ore system, it just doesn't work. Even if it starts growing ores, it's really buggy and eventually breaks the game. I decided to rewrite the entire system. This wasn't the first time either. Finally, this system works and I can start scripting the grow all feature. There's also going to be a free-to-play method. It's this magic bucket that will temporarily boost growth. Let me show you the reality of being a developer. I'm in the middle of nowhere and I'm still developing my game. I just got done scripting the magic bucket. It's supposed to speed up the growth. If I go ahead and use it, this rock will start to grow insanely fast. This effect can stack, and as you can see, it's already fully grown. Now it's time to add 2 NPCs. One will sell stuff, other will take your items. I spent some time gearing them up, and by the end of it, day 3 was nearly over. Alright, day 4. This marks the beginning of UI design. I created the frame for the merchant and scripted the server side. It's supposed to give you an ore if you have enough currency. With a few simple clicks, these NPCs are set up, but currently only this one works. I still have to script the other one. Let me talk to Dom and let's see if he can offer me some ores. As you can see, the merchant works, but these models are way too big. I'll have to make some improvements, but let me try buying this copper. I got it and my money was taken away. This is only the prototype. I made some improvements. When you hover over a button, it displays the final version of the selected ore. Once again, I was back at the growing system. There were some bugs that needed to be fixed. Then I hopped on a 3D modeling software called Blender and made a tire. You'll see why in a second. The merchant needs to have a cool crib, so I started building. Block by block, I was closer to being done, and this is the final result. You know it's good when it blows up on Twitter. I'm in the middle of building Tim's crib, and just look what happened. His house is literally on fire, but he doesn't care. He just wants to keep selling ores and make a profit. Okay, I don't know why I'm telling random stories. I should get back to building. I wanted to playtest the game, and I thought I got hacked for a second. Some kind of script was breaking my game. I removed it and added leader stats. In the following day, I designed the custom hotbar. I didn't have to script much, since I have other games that use the same system. I wanted to make a lot of improvements, like a search bar and filters. However, I quickly realized there are way too many bugs. Normally, I wouldn't give up, but I found a module that might have everything that I'm looking for. I decided to scrap my own hotbar system and switch to something that should work. This is Snatchel, which is an open-sourced hotbar system, and everything here is generated by scripts. I was able to easily customize it and make it fully functional. This should make the game feel more professional. I did have to spend half of my day adjusting these scripts, but at least it works. I'm going to add 3 buttons, one for easy access to the merchant, seller, and your plot. This design is way too bright, so I came up with something better. Then I wrote a script that will teleport you if you click on one of these buttons. I'm done scripting this UI and I'm not sure if I like it, it just feels a bit off. It also uses a lot of image labels, which take a while to load. Anyways, all I need is a functioning game for now, and I can freely use these buttons and teleport to the desired locations. I don't even know what to create next. I will let my dreams handle this. It's day 6, and I got the perfect idea to simplify the UI. It didn't really change much, but I like this style way better. It's finally time to create a map. This won't be possible without any assets, so I created the couple trees. Then I created the landscape, making various types of mountains. And for the cherry on top, I placed down trees, along with small rocks. It's finally time to create a group for this game, and it's going to be called Money Grows in Mines. I'm fully done with the map, and this is how it looks at nighttime. I like it. It's relatively small and very simple, but I think this'll work the best for this type of game. The main objective is to grow ores, not to explore the map. However, for games like Fish, a big map is necessary because you have to explore. Anyways, in day 7, I began creating a shop. A game without monetization simply cannot go viral. I also made a settings frame, just in case if that music gets too annoying. I scripted each setting and configured the shop. Okay, so I'm done with the settings and the shop, except I have nothing to sell. All of these items are just placeholders because I don't have any ores except this copper one. I'm still waiting on my modeler. However, the shop is fully functional and it prompts up all the products. All I need is models right now, which should be delivered very soon. In day 8, I was able to do a lot. I began by modeling a chest, but right as I was about to texture, I received the ore models. I made small improvements and configured them to work with my system. I also decided to make one more ore. In the merchant, there's an option to buy the ore with Robux, so I scripted a shop system. I'm finally done configuring these new ores, and for testing purposes, I gave myself all of them. Let me try planting them, and let's see if they work. Okay, I'll go ahead and buy instant growth, and let's see what happens. Why doesn't it work? It was a small issue. I used the same variable for different developer products. Now it should work. Let me go ahead and buy Instagrow, and boom, the wall garden is filled with rocks. Looks like I'm getting a toxic ore, but to be honest, there are way too many particles. I think I need to fix that. Let me go ahead and buy it again, and let's see how many ores I get. They look pretty cool. Anyways, back to the chest. I finished texturing it and made it work in Studio. And just like that, I'm done setting up the free rewards. There's this big chest that you can go up to and it will prompt you this UI. I have already claimed it, but you can get 1.5 thousand cents for completely free. All you have to do is just join the group and favorite the game. Also, my ores grew while I was offline, and damn, they look insane. I began working on a feature where others can steal your ores. As you can see, it already works well. However, I had to make some improvements. I believe I'm done with the stealing mechanism. I'll try to take this player's candy rock. I have it in my inventory and this player no longer has it. I can do the same with these ores. Let me take this one. I just found the way to dupe items. I have to fix this. This is a serious problem. I'll fix it later though. I created an icon that I'm going to use for a special offer. It's a good thing to add if you want to increase the payer conversion. Now there are a bunch of special offers that you can buy. There's this starter pack, a pro pack, and even a god pack. They all give you pretty decent items for their value and are way better than just buying them by their own. For example, let me buy this pro pack, and as you can see, I got 2.5 thousand gold and this platinum ore. The shop is pretty much done, except for this exclusive pack, because I still need the models. I started my day with scripting a gifting system. This needs to be really secure, otherwise players could dupe items. After wasting half of my day trying to script this, I finally got it to work. I got a rock and I can gift it to this player. He has the choice to decline it or accept it. Let me go ahead and accept, and as you can see, it gets transferred to this player's inventory and he can choose to do whatever he wants with it. He can of course also gift it back. This process is seamless. Hopefully there won't be any game-breaking bugs, like a way to dupe these items. I'm starting to run out of time, so I really need to lock in. Luckily, I have a tutorial system that I can set up with a few simple steps. And just like that, I'm done with the tutorial and I'm in the middle of re-scripting the shop. The first step is to purchase an ore, so let me do that. I'll go ahead and buy this rock and then I have to plant it. I'll place my ore and I have to wait until it grows. There we go, and the last step is to just sell it. I'm going to keep this tutorial very short, so the players don't get bored. Anyways, back to the video. I created an icon for a game pass. It's going to be auto-collect, which could be pretty useful. The exclusive ores are here as well. Okay, I'm done scripting the game pass and the exclusive pack. Well, sort of. As you can see, the game pass works. I already own it, but I still have to finish scripting the server side for this pack. It shouldn't take much time, but you never know what bugs may occur. I will let testers find out if there are any bugs, and in the meantime, I designed the thumbnail. The idea I mentioned earlier is this: a diamond from Minecraft. It could be something that players might click. I made another thumbnail which showcased more of the gameplay. Alright, it's the last day. I jumped straight into Blender and made this tower. It's for this wizard that will hand out magic buckets. Also, thanks to my friend for the animation. I spent 6,000 Robux to launch 2 ads. I'll check the results tomorrow. It's the next day and I just woke up. You can probably tell that by my voice. This ad seems to have a click-through rate at around 1.9%, which isn't that bad, but isn't perfect either. I have had a thumbnail which has almost 3%. The play rate is also kind of low, it's only at 0.69%. However, I have spent only half of my ad credits, so this ad might get better results. And then looking at my other ad, it has barely spent anything. The click-through rate and the play rate seems to be around the same. And the game currently has 9 active players, which isn't that bad, but the like ratio is awful. Well, at least the community shows some appreciation. Look at this comment. I ran a couple more ads. I'll check back in a few days. My game is sitting at 18 live active users and it has nearly gathered 13.5 thousand visits. The like ratio has significantly improved as well. The ad got 170,000 impressions and nearly got 5,000 clicks, which isn't that bad. Also, I accidentally bought an ad for the wrong experience. I don't know what is Revenge of the Slimes. And looking at the monetization tab, the game has made its first revenue, which is over 1000 Robux. It hasn't hit the algorithm, so this number is pretty good. First of all, I need a game plan. I have put one together, and it's pretty straightforward. The more players I'm going to get, the more profit I will earn. Yeah, that's all. If my game doesn't gain any players, I will end up losing a bunch of money. Anyways, I need a game, and I got an idea. You see, the front page is filled with Grow a Garden games. I'm going to use that as an opportunity, since I have made games like these before. The thing is, I need to make the game as fast as possible, otherwise I could miss this trend. I got ChatGPT to generate me a fresh idea. Yo, wait, ignore that. Anyways, I hopped on Studio and started building. This time I will be smart and create a color palette. I have never done this before, but it seems to be working. Just look at this plot. I'm going to add something that most of these Grow a Garden games don't have. It's the ability to expand your plot. I'm going to make it work using a proximity prompt. They're easy to set up and work on all kind of devices. Alright, this plot system should work. I got my own plot and I want to expand it. Let me interact with this sign and looks like my plot disappeared. Clearly, something doesn't work. I found out that I was destroying the plot before I could clone the new one. Now it works, but it's plain and boring. I want to make a cool transition. If you have played Clash of Clans, you already know what I'm trying to make. And just like that, I should be done with the animation. Now when I expand the plot, these clouds will appear. For those who have played Clash of Clans, you probably can tell that I took a bit of inspiration. The next thing that I'm going to create is a merchant. Oh, and I forgot to tell you that this game is going to be about growing a taiga. This idea might work. Tell me I'm not the only one who thinks this face looks so creepy. It looks like bro is stalking me. I need to change this face. I found this one, which looks more friendly. There's also this guy that'll take your stuff and give you money. Alright, using my NPC template, I was able to make these work in a few minutes. I can ask who he is, and if I want to, I can just walk away. Same with this guy. However, I still need to script the function that opens the merchant, so let me do that. Back to the merchant, I need UI. I forgot to record this, but I made this old paper frame. I scripted a couple of functions that created the global stock. This means that everyone has the same amount of items. I also set up the default data. The main gameplay should be done. I took a lot of systems from my previous games. First of all, I have a shovel that I will be able to use to destroy trees. The merchant works as well, and the stock is global for all servers. This is an upgrade from my previous system. These items are just placeholders. I'm not going to have actual rocks. There is going to be a variety of pine trees and other taiga themed items. Here goes my first Robux. I hired someone to make me a sound effect. I'm taking assets from this game, which I own as well. It has some players, but it won't get me out of the hood, so all hopes on this game. I created 3 buttons for easy access to the merchant, seller, and your plot. Okay, so I'm done with these 3 buttons and I can easily teleport to all my desired locations. I was thinking of adding this cloud transition, but then I realized that eventually it would become annoying. Sometimes the simple things work out way better. This is a prime example of Grow a Garden. It was made in 3 days, but has millions of players. The next feature that I added is a friend boost. Per friend, it'll give you 10% more coins. Alright, it's time to make the first growable. This trunk should do the trick. Then I made a berry bush that'll grow these little berries. Here you can see how it grows in action. This is what I love about developing. You can do cool stuff like this. I have a garden in real life too. Look at this cute berry. Now I have to repeat the process for about 5 more crops. This model single-handedly has over 100 parts. The growth animation will look insane. I tried my best to make it look as good as possible. For the final crop, well, at least for now, I made a birch tree. Each one of these crops has a config that holds its growth time, rarity, and etc. I just finished modeling all of the crops, and look at my garden. It looks pretty cool, doesn't it? I love how this looks, especially the birch trees and these catkins. This is a game I would actually play. Yo, what is happening here? The particles might be a little too crazy. I fixed them and made the majority of the UI. This includes the settings, shop, and a special offer. The settings and the shop should work now. As you can see, I can lower the volume of the music, the sounds, and also choose to turn on low graphics. The shop works as well, but it's all placeholders because I still need the models. Someone is making exclusive trees, so I still need to wait for those. I didn't really have to do much work since I just copied my previous systems. It's nice to have other games. You can reuse a lot of scripts. It's time to make the map. I started by adding a big base plate. Then I made some paths that will connect all the plots together. After that, I created hills and mountains. Without them, the map just feels dead. I can't forget about other assets, like trees and rocks. These make everything look way better. Let's go, I'm finally done with the map, and the atmosphere feels so cozy. I really like how it turned out. This might be one of my favorite maps. It's also pretty small, which is good for this game. Everything needs to be easily accessible. I might add a few more assets, but this is probably the final result. Instead of making assets, I made more crops. After all, the gameplay is more important. Yeah, looks like my mic was muted. Anyways, I was trying to showcase the starter packs. These might be my main source of revenue. Currently, I'm 750 Robux in debt. It's nothing compared to what I will spend on ads. I scripted the function that's going to add an animation if the crop is very large. I also scripted the weather system and a gifting system. I'm pretty much done with everything. The weather works, the gifting should work, and the game should be fully completed. As you can see, I just got the snowy event, which means all of the crops will have increased chances of getting this mutation. Let me see if it actually goes away. Really? I got the snowy one again. What's my luck? Anyways, it should go away. I decided to add a feature where the plant can get mutated while growing. However, there were some interesting bugs. Okay, so I should be fully done with the mutations. Previously, you could only get them when you plant the seed. Now they also appear randomly throughout the entire day. Since there's rain, I keep getting these wet berries, which cost way more than usual. Also, there is a small problem. I still don't have the exclusive seeds. I'm getting a bit worried if I will even get them. While I wait, I can design a thumbnail. These need to be really good. I made the first one, then another one, and the cycle repeated. I think I went overboard. I made like 7 versions and now I can't choose which ones I'm going to use. They all are pretty similar, but this one arrow could highly increase the click-through rate. You need to run a lot of tests and find out which ones work the best. For this thumbnail, I'm going to use reverse psychology. Normally, blueberries don't grow into oak trees, but this is perfect since it makes the player question this. There's good news and bad news. The bad news are that the guy who was supposed to make the models quit. However, the good news is that I can save some money and make them by my own. I created 4 unique crops, and for one of them, I used the 3D modeling software called Blender. I sort of rushed everything, but I want to get this game out as soon as possible. Anyways, I added the exclusive seeds, which for some reason aren't loading. You can go ahead and buy these packs and get these 4 seeds. And then there's also the free rewards chest that I copied from one of my games. Apart from that, everything should be done. Now I just need to see if there are any bugs. There were, and a lot. So I fixed all of them and created the holding animation for very big crops. I have it already scripted, so I don't need to worry about that. Now it's time to start launching ads. For the first one, I spent 4,500 Robux. I'll check the results tomorrow. The first ad is still running, but the results are not that good. It has a click-through rate at around 1.3%, which is pretty bad. The play rate looks low as well, so I need to do something. The low play rate could indicate that the thumbnail is bad, so I designed a new one. Then I launched another ad, hoping this new thumbnail will do the trick. I also got my first product sales. I just woke up and the ad is performing okay. The click-through rate is 1.5%, which isn't that bad. But I have had games with nearly 3%. The play rate seems to be low, I don't know why. Well, you can't even really play the game, that's probably why. Not all hope is lost. I fixed the loading issue and ran another set of ads. I'm now targeting the simulator genre. The ad just stopped running and it spent nearly 17 ad credits. That's like 5,000 Robux. And looks like I got nearly a 1.9% click-through rate, which isn't bad at all. I think I will run another one of these. On the bright side, I got a couple sales, but the game is chilling at exactly 2 players. Yeah, it's bad, but I still have hope that the algorithm picks it up. I'm spending another 4,000 Robux. Let me head to sleep, maybe it'll blow up overnight. Alright, I got a few sales while I was asleep, but there's something that I'm not happy about. The sad reality is that this game flopped. It has 1 active player and only 13.4 thousand visits. The stats are horrible, no wonder why it failed. But now let's head over to monetization to see if we made a profit. Yeah, I don't think this is enough. In its lifetime, this game made nearly 1000 Robux, which is nowhere near the amount I spent on ads. However, not all hope is lost. As you can see, the game is starting to hit home recommendations. This means it's in the algorithm. My guess is that this trend has died down. People might have gotten tired of it. As for this game, maybe it'll gain a few more players and possibly bring the profit margin to 0. However, I doubt that because the stats are horrible. I have had games like these that perform really well, so I was probably late to the trend. I didn't make any profit, but on the bright side I got experience, which is priceless. Actually, I was wrong. Right as I was about to post this video, the game blew up to 140 players. It also started earning way more Robux. So maybe in the future it'll become a profitable business. So first of all, I need to find a failed game. There's this social media platform called Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. It's not really a marketplace for games, but you can find some pretty good deals here. Well, I don't really want to spend 3 million Robux. It's not like I can afford it anyways. So I kept looking. Yo, this guy's selling his game for only 10,000 Robux? This might be the one. The only downside is that it has 20 copies. And another downside is that it has 0 active players and not that many likes. However, this deal is way too good, so I messaged the seller on Discord. While I wait for the response, let me go on a bike ride. The first question that I asked was how many copies has he sold. This is important because I need to know if there's any left. Okay, I'm good. I asked a couple more questions and we agreed on 10,000 Robux plus tax. Hopefully he gives me the game file, otherwise I'm screwed. And there goes my money. I was a little bit scared that he would just block me and dip, but he sent a file right away. I played it for a bit and it's not that bad, but it definitely needs a rework. I started by creating a new group. Damn, this name is taken. I came up with Pumpkin Works. It doesn't make much sense right now, but you'll understand it a little bit later. I took a look at how the game was scripted and I didn't understand much. I somehow have to plug in my framework, but before I do that, I have to change the lighting. Let's go, it's already looking a lot better. Before I start programming, let me tell you more about what I'm going to make. I have this idea of using this game's concept, but completely switching up the theme. Something like Unbox a Garden would probably work better. I think this can reach the front page. Now that you have a better understanding of my plan, let me start coding. Plugging in my framework was a difficult process. It's like re-scripting the game. After I got most of it set up, I decided that I'm going to remake the UI as well. I went for a minimalistic but cartoony look. Then I remade the shop and rewrote a couple of scripts. Okay, so after hours of scripting, I have implemented the client side of my framework. As you can see, I changed the UI and you can go ahead and open the shop. It's a little bit buggy, but you can go ahead and buy some stuff. I believe the hardest part is done. It'll be easier to script in the future. Oh, and I can't forget about changing the game passes, otherwise all profit will go to the guy I bought it from. To make these new passes work, I rewrote the shop system and it should be fully done. It's pretty late right now, but I should be done with monetization. You can purchase coin packs, game passes, and all of these other products. I might add a few more, but for now it should be good. One by one I remade each frame, and because I changed the layout I had to rewrite each script. All of the UI and the main gameplay should be fully scripted. You can open the index, open this rebirth shop, open all of these frames and also take these crates. I honestly don't remember what I was doing here. I should have taken notes. Then I remade the billboard UIs and ran into a problem. I need my own version of the shield, so I tried to ask AI. Let's see what it's capable of. It's not the best, but it'll do the trick. I have seen more and more games use AI icons and honestly, they look clean. I found a rig that contains an idle and swing animation. I think I need to hire someone. Anyways, this game is going to use slabs, so I made 5 unique variants. This isn't enough, so I hopped on a 3D modeling software called Blender and made 2 more. I think you can guess this one. Now that they're added to the game, I configured each tool and tested them out. And just like that, all of these tools should work. Let me try to fling player 2 using this bat. It doesn't seem to work. I forgot to add this local script, which should make the character fly. Okay, this should work now. There we go, player 2 has been sent to space. This slap isn't that powerful, but there's one that has 10 times more power. The range on that would be crazy. This map has to go. It's not that bad, but I need something new. I started by remaking the plot. It definitely needs to be larger. Then I made the conveyor and started working on a small hut. This right here is going to be Kim. And just like that, these NPCs are set up. You can talk to my man Kim and he will show you the index. And Bob over here will open the gear shop where you can find all of these items. Also, I'm in the middle of rebuilding the map, so right now it looks trash. I still have some work to do. Back to building the map, I created 2 hills, 2 rocks and a sakura tree. This should go well together. And just like that, I'm done with the map, and honestly, it looks pretty good. I tried to make it as simple as possible, so everything is easily accessible. Also, what's this arrow right here? I think it's related to the tutorial. Also, there are so many errors and the game doesn't function anymore. This sounds like a bad thing, but a new map was necessary. I fixed up most of the errors and added invisible walls. If players could walk in other bases, it would ruin the wall gameplay. It's time to add the most important thing, the crops. First of all, I made a carrot. then a tomato, then a corn, blueberry, cabbage, bone blossom. Wait, what? Now I got myself a wall garden here. I got pretty much everything. A tomato, pumpkin, mushroom, cactus, kiwi, and all of these other crops. There's also this one that's similar to grow a garden. I'm hoping to attract their players. For legal reasons, I'm joking. Anyways, for each crop, I created an icon. These look good. I want to improve the spawning system. This way, it should have less lag. Okay, so I fully rescripted the conveyor. Now it should be way smoother. Essentially, what I did was move these crates on the client. On the server, there are these tiny blocks that don't take up much performance. I also changed a lot about the boxes, and yeah, it's a little bit buggy. I forgot to weld the model together. Now it works. Luckily, I found about this bug. Later on, it could have caused serious problems. Remember the crops I made? Well, now it's time to configure them. I just finished offsetting the crops and added many improvements. Now if you open the index GUI, you can see that for every 5 unique crops, you'll get 5% more money. These will have variants in the future, so it'll stack up. There's also this home button that you can use to easily go to your base. And in my base, I already have the carrot. I need to remove these drills because this game is not about mining ores anymore. While you're carrying a box, I want to hide the game UI. I want to try to do something like this. After a bit of coding, I got it to work. Well, not really. What the f***? What happened to the UI? It was an easy fix. I messed up the variables. Let's go, it works. I want to introduce mutations. Each crate will have a random chance of getting mutated. It'll make the crop earn you way more money. It was quite difficult to implement this feature because of the way that the code was set up. I had multiple bugs, but eventually I got it to work. It's been a while since I've showed you what's going on. I made it so if you go ahead and purchase a gold crate, you will get a golden crop. This way there's a guaranteed chance that you'll get your mutation. I also made a lot of improvements, including game optimization. Right now, the game is lacking monetization. To fix that, I wrote a script that will allow you to spawn in a rare crate. After some intense coding, I was able to add these pads, which will help this game earn some Robux. A game simply can do well if it has no monetization. You can get the best crate for 499 Robux. Yo, it's so big. I also added a starter pack, but struggled with making this icon rainbow. I think AI will help. Yo, AI did a pretty good job. This animation looks so clean. ChatGPT can be handy sometimes. The next thing that I made was group rewards. If your game doesn't have them, I don't know what you're doing. So I'm done with these group rewards and my animator got back to me with his work, and these look so good. I don't know why they're slightly tilted. I think it's related to my code. Either way, these are sick and definitely make the game feel more alive. These small changes could make a big impact. To make the game more grindy, I'm going to add another base level. It's going to have a second floor that you can fill up with crops. In total, you have 20 slots to place your crops. This should make the game harder to complete. I'm nearly done with this game. I can move on to making thumbnails. No, I mean thumbnails for this game. Here's my step-by-step guide on how to create a viral thumbnail. Step 1. Set up the scene in Studio. Step 2. Slap on a bunch of effects. Step 3. Add a catchy text. I repeat this process for 3 to 4 thumbnails and then A/B test them. More about that later. I'm done with these thumbnails and honestly, I made way too many versions. I also made these 2 icons and I can't decide which one is the best. Let me know down in the comment section. I plugged in my tutorial system and now the players won't be confused. The game is pretty much ready for release, but I want to add the cherry on top. I want to introduce a custom Aurora event. You know how Grow a Garden does admin abuse? Well, now I can do it as well. With this simple command, I can start any event that I want. For example, an Aurora. Some of these crates will spawn with an exclusive mutation. You can only get it while this event is active. Now I can say that this game is completed. I invited my friends to test and we ended up finding a ton of bugs. I spent the whole day fixing them and forgot to add invisible walls. These huge borders should do the trick. Finally, after a day of fixing bugs, they should be gone. I was so happy to say that. Anyways, it's time to put this game in gear. I spent 4.5 thousand Robux on ad credits and launched the first campaign. The first ad is live. I'll catch some sleep and see you guys tomorrow. Okay, the game isn't doing that bad. It's chilling at 10 players. They seem to enjoy it, but there are already some bugs, which I need to fix. At one point, the game was completely broken. I fixed all of the issues and launched another ad. I really want to build a strong connection with my players, so I did some admin abuse. I had a lot of fun, and I hope the players did too. Let me go to sleep. Tomorrow, I will check the results. This ad is about to stop running, and it could have performed a little bit better. It has a click-through rate of 2.25%. It's average, but nothing crazy. The playthrough rate is low as well. I like to aim to get more than 1%. It's time to bring out the big guns. I'm spending 10,000 Robux for this one campaign. Let's just hope it does well. You won't believe what happened. Yo, the game is sort of blowing up. It's already at 72 players. No way it's already in the algorithm. Usually it takes around 1 to 2 weeks to hit the algorithm. I found about a major bug and spent the whole day fixing it. I just launched the next ad and look at the clock. It's literally past 2 AM. Hopefully I won't wake up with a broken game. Developing games can get tiring, but you know me, I'll never give up, so I'll see you tomorrow. The game has already hit the algorithm. I don't know how that's possible. It's been 5 days since I've released it. It's so new that it doesn't even have the overview tab. This is crazy, and I'm at 37 live active users. It has never been easier to make a viral game. You can't miss this opportunity. I decided to build another base level, add more crops, and increase the rebirth cap. This update should get me more players. I will come back in a few days. Well, for you, in a second. The game is cooked. I don't know what went wrong, but the plots are merged together. I quickly found about the issue, and here are the results. This game is officially blowing up. It doubled its players in the last 5 minutes. It happened as soon as I fixed the bugs, which is a little bit weird. To be honest, I don't even know how it has that many players. These stats are trash. Maybe they will improve, but I'm not sure. I was about to mark this as a failed project until it blew up to 200 players, then 300, and it just kept growing. It's only been a week, so who knows how many players it'll get. But now the real question is, how much profit did I make? Well, I spent 10,000 on the game, 18,000 on ads, and another 10,000 hiring developers. Yeah, I didn't make much. Day 1. I need to think of a fresh idea. Yesterday I was playing fish and I thought about something. Instead of catching fishes, you could catch crops. Of course, you wouldn't catch them out of the water. Instead, there's going to be a giant tree that'll spawn crops that you can catch with a net. Now that I have a plan, let me get to work. I hopped on a 3D modeling software called Blender and made a basic net. Once I was done, I created a brand new group and opened the new place. I messed around with the lighting until it looked somewhat good. Okay, so I got the net in hand. It's sideways and it looks a little bit weird. Mostly because it doesn't have any animations, and if you know me, I can't animate. I will leave this job to a professional. In the meantime, I made a small base plate and started working on a data system. I asked AI for some help and was honestly surprised. Yo, AI is genius. The data is being perfectly replicated to the client. Hopefully there won't be any data issues. I scripted the main system that's going to spawn the crops. I will have a small part on the server and the actual crop replicated to the client. I mean it works, but these parts keep getting stuck and they're colliding with each other. For example this one, I don't know why it's not moving outwards. I will probably have to hire someone because I don't know what I'm doing. If you couldn't tell, I have zero experience about pathfinding. I made a post in Hidden Devs. Hopefully somebody will apply. I scripted the basic system that should replicate the crop model on the client. Then I made the big tree that I was talking about. I think it turned out pretty good, so I posted it on Twitter. You should drop a follow. I made a small hut. Here you'll be able to buy nets. The animator got back with his work, and these animations look really nice. I still haven't decided what to do with these crops. Either I can make them go to your base, or you'll need to carry them. I don't know what's the best approach. I also made a holding animation and scripted the system that allows you to carry the crops. I made some improvements. First of all, I got rid of the base plate and made these crops feel more alive. They have this walking animation, but they keep getting stuck. I still haven't found a scripter. I didn't realize that my post got declined. How is 3000 Robux not enough? Let me try 5k. Right now, the game looks empty, so it's time to make some UI. I went for a minimalistic style with a wooden accent. I really like how this looks. Then I scripted the merchant and added Bob. Let me talk to my man Bob and buy this basic net. I can either purchase it with coins or Robux. Then I can use it to catch these crops, and I still haven't figured out what to really do with them. I don't know if carrying them is the best approach. The players might get bored. I ended up scrapping this idea. Simplicity is an important aspect. Since I have a wall merchant, having one net doesn't make sense anymore. So I made 10 more and used Substance Painter to color them. It's really late and I'm finally done with these nets. They turned out to be pretty good. I like how they look. These carrots are ruining my footage. You know what they say, without hard work there's no results. This is true, and you can apply this to everything. I started my day with scripting. I made a function that I can easily call to give a net. I did some grinding while I was at school, and now you're able to buy these nets with Robux. I don't know why, but every single one of my games struggles with monetization. And looks like I didn't even get the net. Nice. Anyways, I made each net give you more luck. If I equip this magma one, the chance increases to 71%. The basics are done. Now I need to figure out what to do with these crops. I believe the best approach is having a plot for each player. In total, I made 3 plot levels, each one getting a little bit bigger. Then I made this bridge that connects your plot to the main island. Of course, nothing works without scripts, so I made a plot system. Once I was done, I added the coin counter, friend boost and a home button. Okay, so I added a few things. First of all, a home button, a currency counter, a friends boost, and a couple other features. I finally decided what to do with these crops. They're going directly to your inventory. This way the gameplay is much simpler. Along with that, there are also going to be mutations. Ever since fish came out, these have been a huge trend. I did some changes to these crops. They all have a chance of spawning with a mutation. This one's diamond, and instead of you carrying the crop to your base, you can directly catch it. Oh god, there's so many errors. I need to fix them. The first one was related to these mobile buttons. It was an easy fix, but there's something wrong with the placement system. I fixed it by filtering out other plots and only using my own. Let's go, it finally works, and it looks so good as well. I'm proud of this system. It's day 3 and I got straight to work. I made this billboard UI and wrote a script that's going to play an animation for each crop and update the UI. The main gameplay is nearly done. You can place down your crops and they will passively earn you income. There are still some minor bugs, but overall it works. However, I'm far from done with this game. I fixed them and thought about adding rebirths. I asked AI to generate me an icon. Yeah, screw AI. I decided to use this trophy instead and finished designing the UI. I also made a group rewards and rebirths frame. Let's go, I'm finally done with the UI. It took a little bit longer than I expected it to. However, I have a secret trick. All my games have terrible monetization, and I have a fix for that. I'm going to add these developer products that allow you to gain a boost for a small period of time. I can make them very cheap and it will increase the pair conversion rate. I'm also going to try to enable this notification if one of your friends is online. It turns out that you can do that with social service by using prompt game invite. And just like that, the group rewards and the invite should work. I can go ahead and invite my friends for an additional coin boost. These rewards should work as well. Let's see if I get these items. There we go. Now I need to make the rebirths work. Luckily, one of my other games has this system. All I had to do was make some adjustments. Here are all the crops that I'm going to use. There's 18 in total. I configure them by assigning rarity, image, chance, weight, and etc. Let me try to rebirth and let's see if my base upgrades. I have enough money and I have the required crops. It's a little bit broken. Oh, it's supposed to be placed fruits. Yeah, I was still struggling with rebirths. At least they work now. I started my day off by building the map. I added borders and a bunch of trees. It's not the best map that I have made, but it'll do the trick. Okay, so the game is starting to piece itself together. I'm done with the map, and I also added a few more features. I also made a settings frame. Here you can adjust the sound, music, low graphics, and turn on your notifications. It's time to add the shop. I decided to give AI another chance, and damn, these icons are clean. I made a shop frame, and visually this might be my best one yet. I uploaded 2 game passes and tested out the shop. And just like that, I'm fully done with monetization, except for some minor things. Woohoo, day 5. The game is pretty much done, so it's time to make the thumbnails. I usually set up the scene in Studio and do the editing in Photoshop. This is how the first thumbnail turned out. I'd say that it's pretty good. I also made this one. It's a bit more unique, so I'll see how it performs. I couldn't find anyone that was suitable for the pathfinding job, so let me try to do it myself. I'm too dumb to make the crops go in random positions, so I'm going to use paths. I guess after all, I don't need to hire anyone. I was able to make this simple movement system in a couple of hours. This way the movement is way more predictable. This way there shouldn't be any cases where the crop gets stuck. Alright, so it's day 6 and I want to add more features. One of them is an index. It's a great way to boost that day 7 and day 30 retention. Once I was done, we started testing and things didn't go as planned. One of my testers is literally flying. Plots are glitched and the placement system malfunctioned. One by one I fixed all of these bugs and by the time I was done, it was already midnight. It's quite late right now, but I should be done with these bugs. I had to fix all of these and there were so many. My testers did a good job. Anyways, I need to catch some sleep. I got school tomorrow. I woke up, went to school, took a bike ride and got to work. I need a game logo, so I asked ChatGPT to generate one. I have to say, I'm surprised. Okay, this is not going to work. What the f even is this? I ended up using this one. It's also AI generated. We did another testing session and there were 4 less bugs. I fixed them and now I can say that this game is completed. It's time to put it in motion. I pretty much spent half of my day fixing bugs, but I'm happy to say that this game is finally live. I scheduled the first ad campaign and it should be already running when I wake up, so I'll see you tomorrow. I woke up to exactly 0 players. Yeah, it's not looking that good. I'm glad I added these leaderboards because I can see how much people have grinded. My friend is still on top. It's day 7. I'm technically past the 7 days, but I managed to finish the game before that. I might as well make the first update. I added this shovel that you can use to pick up the crops. Then I scripted it, and while I was doing that, my game started to gain more and more players. I also added gifting, which doubles down as trading. I paid close attention throughout the day on how the game was doing, and this is what I found. Yo, look at this man's farm, he has a crazy collection. There are so many crops, my game is slowly starting to lag. I think I need to increase the radius. I bought more ad credits, and by the end of day 8, I launched the second campaign. I woke up and checked how my game was doing. It's the next day, and surprisingly, the game hasn't broken down. If I check the console, there are 0 errors. Now it's only a matter of time before it blows up. I waited until this ad stopped running, and here are the results. The second ad just ended, and I don't know how the first one is still running. Anyways, this ad got a click-through rate of 2.12%, which is average. It's nothing crazy, but not bad as well. However, the playthrough rate is only 0.71%, which is pretty low. And I managed to make 7 Robux. Let's go. Yeah, this is insane profit. I decided to spend more Robux and launch the biggest ad yet. I'm curious to see how it will perform. To be honest, my game is stuck between 10 to 50 players. It can't seem to get past that. However, these players seem to really enjoy this game. Somehow millions of coins, and there are people with over 5 rebirths. It seems that the players are enjoying the game, but the algorithm doesn't. Maybe I just need to wait more time. Enough time has passed. Let me reveal the results. It turns out that this game has completely flopped. It only has 10 players. I honestly don't know what went wrong. I thought it had potential. Let me take a look at the stats. I think the main reason why this game flopped is the horrible monetization. This is just sad to watch. It has only made 31 Robux in the last 72 hours. However, these thumbnails are really good, so there might be hope. I ended up with a total profit of negative 21,705 Robux. Every single game starts off with an idea. I like to scroll through the front page and see what's working right now. I came across 99 Nights in the Forest. It's actually the biggest game in Roblox right now, and it's a survival game. You know what they say, good artists copy, great artists steal. Here's what I'm going to do. So this is 99 Nights in the Forest, but if we go ahead and remove the forest, add a little bit of snow and make some improvements, I think I got myself the perfect idea. Now that I have a plan, let me get to work. I opened the new base plate and messed around with the lighting until it had a nice winter atmosphere. My game is going to have one main monster, a polar bear. I made it using a 3D modeling software called Blender. Then using Substance Painter, I applied all of the textures. Let's go, I'm finally done with this beer and it's already past midnight. This thing took way too much time to make. I hope I can actually rig it because I have never made a character before. Here we go, it's already day 2. Last night I was able to find the developer who offered to animate the polar bear. While he does that, let me make a tree. You will be able to chop it down, so I made 4 stages that together create the full model. The next thing that I did was add a day and night cycle. All of these spooky creatures will appear at night. So this game now has a working day and night cycle. It displays the day and the current time. I'm probably going to make it so that a monster can't enter your base. But in order to chop down trees and get rid of monsters, I made a useful tool. I wrote a script that's going to make it work and also created the system that automatically regrows trees. Okay, I don't know why this took me half of a day to script. Either way, you should be able to chop down these trees, and they should give you some wood. Also, the trees can regrow and you can keep chopping them. So far, the game is looking good. Next up, I created the campfire UI and added a way to drag items. Well, it could use some improvements. I made it a lot smoother and made the fireplace work. It's already 1 AM, but I'm finally done with this stupid fireplace. You can throw in logs and it'll increase its progress. Let me try to get to level 2. Never mind, it doesn't work. I'm going to deal with this tomorrow. I woke up and realized the problem was in the config. Now it should work. I designed the fire sound effect and started creating the map. For now, I'm going to leave it like this, but eventually I want to make it really big. I added the hunger and warmth UI and made it work using a new script. Then I added sprinting, it'll definitely make the game more fun. And just like that, I'm done with a hunger system, a heat system, and also a sprinting system. I thought these would be easier to make, but they're pretty complicated. While you sprint, your hunger will drain 2 times faster. And if you run out of heat, you will die in game. Now I have so many cool ideas. Okay, day 4, I created the death screen and added an option to revive with Robux. Of course, I had to make it work as well, and let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Okay, so the death UI should work now. If I go ahead and reset, I have 2 choices. I can either revive everyone or I will shortly get teleported to the lobby. If I go ahead and purchase this product, I should respawn. And there we go. The animator got back to me with the polar bear, and these animations look clean. I will script it a little bit later, but for now, let me make a backpack. I didn't make just one, I made a lot of them. I'm done with these bags, and honestly, they look really good. The first one might look a little bit rough, but I did that intentionally. I want the progress to feel rewarding. I wrote a function that gives you the backpack. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. This problem had an easy fix. I loaded it incorrectly. I just got done scripting the backpack system, and it works on mobile as well. There are many things that I need to do off camera to make sure that the game functions. Anyways, I really want to catch some sleep. On day 5, I wanted to add food. I took a berry model, wrote a roll grow a garden system, and made the crops eatable. The berries should work now. Let me find the bush. Okay, there is one. I can either drag it around or directly eat it. They also regrow in real time with this nice animation. Okay, there might be minor bugs, but I'm pretty sure it's just anchored. I have this sick idea of adding a bridge that'll lead over a massive ravine. Creating this thing took ages. I wish there was a way to automatically generate terrain. Okay, I'm fully done with the first map. I also added these borders. To get to the other side, you need to upgrade your campfire. If I reach level 2, these walls should go away. There we go, I have unlocked the second world. I think it's finally time to make this monster work. I don't know anything about creating pathfinding monsters, so I asked for some help. Never mind, I'm on my own. Yeah, I'm not going to trust ChatGPT with scripts again. What even is this? It doesn't even want to follow me. With the help of some YouTube tutorials, I was able to make my own version. Yeah, maybe ChatGPT was better. After hours of scripting, I finally got it to work. Okay, this polar bear finally works. If I get close enough, he will start chasing me. And yeah, he's pretty fast. I can also try to kill it, but it's going to be difficult with this simple axe. Either way, this beer should work now. After all this work, my brain doesn't function, so I will head to sleep. Day 6 was special, because today I had no school. I could do something that is way more boring, which is coding. If anybody watching knows how to code, like really well, message me on Discord. Anyways, when you eliminate the beer, you will gain 1 ruby. Remember the ravine I made? Well, there's currently no way to go down there, so I made a ladder. I have this idea of making a system that allows players to build ladders. After about an hour of scripting, the ladder system should work now. Let me go ahead and pick up this ladder and head to the nearest building spot. As you can see, the ladder is currently invisible and it cannot be used. So yeah, if I equip a ladder and touch this part, it should build 1 segment. And you might wonder, what's stopping you from just jumping down? Well, you simply cannot get up. You have to pray that your teammates are going to save you. This later became a big problem. I started building a watchtower and a couple other structures. I really like how this log cabin looks. I'm finally done with these structures, and for now there will only be 4. I'm not even joking, these took me hours to make. Well, at least they turned out pretty good. I won't just place these on the map. Instead, I will generate them, along with items like this ladder. Now I want to add chests, crates, loot boxes, however you want to call it. I had already made some models, so I just needed to slightly modify them. Every single day the game is getting better and better, but it doesn't have a real story. If you have ever watched the film Maze Runner, you will know that there are people trapped inside of a maze. And all along this was an experiment by the government. I'd like this game to have a similar story. I want players to slowly understand that this isn't just a normal Arctic. Adding these cameras will definitely raise their curiosity. And just like that, these chests should work. Let me go ahead and open it. Yo, what the f is this? I can never script something normally. I tried to re-rig the chest, but that didn't seem to help at all. I was kind of going insane, trying to fix this. Let's go, this finally works, and it even has sound effects. I found another bug! Trust me, I fixed this off camera. I started building a husky and handed it to my animator. I configured all of the mobs and defined their damage, range, and etc. Then I added these notes, which hopefully will make the players want to explore more. Between day 10 and 11, I made a crafting system. I wanted to make it somewhat similar to Minecraft, but it would be way too complicated. I ended up scripting it in a similar way to 99 Nights in the Forest. After a long day of work, the crafting system should be done. Here you can add some materials. Let me add some logs. Ignore that all of these materials look the same, I still haven't configured them. Anyways, I should be able to craft a torch. And yeah, that's about it. You'll be able to use it to scare the polar bear. I also made these vectors for every single item, including this battle axe. Now it was time to script it. I want this axe to work with only mobs. Okay, so I added a pretty cool feature. Eventually, as you'll play, you'll want to get a better axe. And when you do, you have two axes, so one is pretty much useless. It might not make a lot of sense, but I like this idea, so I will keep it. The main place is almost done, but how will the players get there? I think it's time to build the lobby. I created this Arctic house and modeled a couple more assets. And just like that, I'm done with this map. Of course, I forgot to anchor everything. Either way, you can get the idea of how it's going to look. I think this should do the trick. I always forget to anchor something. It's finally time to add some UI. I added the currency counter, shop icon, and this billboard UI that I will clone onto the character. Then I created the shop frame and made the Ruby pack section. I just got done scripting the shop, and honestly, I don't know what to put here. This is probably why all of my games have terrible monetization. I can offer these rubies, but currently they have no use. I got to work on creating a bed. Then I wrote a script that's going to skip the night if enough players are sleeping. Okay, I finally got done with the bed. Let me go ahead and place it. Let's put it right here. It's supposed to show a proximity prompt. I don't know where it went. Anyways, I'm pretty confident this works. It's golden hour right now, so I want to go outside. Breaks are necessary. Don't burn yourself out. So it's day 12, and luckily it's Saturday. I fixed the bed and created the group rewards UI. Then I created the bandage and many other items like rifles, ammo boxes, and etc. Back to the ravine again. Currently it's useless, so I want to turn it into a mine. I'm going to spawn coal blocks, and to do it I added these little ports. Okay, ever since I last recorded, I made a lot of improvements. Now you can craft a pickaxe. Of course, you can't use it on trees, but if you go down here, you can mine coal. Let me go ahead and destroy this one. Okay, this process might be a little too long. I easily fixed it by changing one line of code. Next up, I created this loading screen, and I have to say, it looks clean. I added one more mob, a sheep. Otherwise, there's no way to get wool. I'm pretty much done with this game, well, except for classes, but I'll probably add those off camera. As you can see, the night now looks a lot more scarier. I also added sheeps. Let's see if I can find one. Oh, it looks like the sheep has fallen into this cave. Well, that's unfortunate. Whoa, day 13. I don't have a lot of time left. That's why I got straight to adding classes. I know, I said that I would do this off camera, but look, I need footage. For each class, I made a character, and here's how the system turned out. Now I can say that I'm pretty much done with this game. It's time to create the thumbnails. For the first time ever, I'm going to try to use Blender. I found about AOs and missed passes. It's my first time making this type of realistic thumbnail, and honestly, it turned out better than I expected. It's hard to see the true colors because my camera makes it so bright. I have been thinking of getting a new phone. Should I get one with a better camera? I created another thumbnail and made this icon. I really like how it looks. Before I publish this game, I need to make sure it actually works, so we did a single testing session. After 10 minutes, these were all of the bugs. It's safe to say that I didn't get much sleep this night. It's nearly 2 AM and I'm still fixing bugs. I have to wake up at 7 AM tomorrow. Why does developing have to be so hard? It's the final day, but at least all of the bugs are fixed. Well, hopefully. I designed a couple of badges and uploaded them on Roblox. Yo, since when creating badges cost 100 Robux? They really want us to go broke. I think it's time to launch the first ad. I'm happy to announce that the first ad is finally live. It's currently in review, but it shouldn't take more than 30 minutes for it to get approved. These first players will be like testers. I can analyze the stats and make small improvements. A day later, I checked how my game was doing. I'm a bit disappointed. From the looks of it, no one has made past day 10, which is really bad. I think there's something wrong with this game, it might be way too hard. It has also made 0 Robux, which is really bad. I need to do something about this. Game developing is all about analyzing and making improvements. The best part about buying an already existing game is that you don't have to think of the idea or do any of the labor. You can already sort of decide whether it can be turned into something viral or not. The best place where you can find games is Twitter. I scrolled for a bit and I couldn't really find anything special. There was the simulator, but the problem is they don't really work anymore. These stud style games are the new trend. This post caught my eye. It's a template, but it has failed as well. I mean, 50,000 visits is a lot, but it's nowhere near viral. I played the game for a while, and from the looks of it, there were 0 bugs. This might be the one. I don't think I can find anything better for just 10,000 Robux. I messaged the seller on Discord and waited for his response. He got back to me right away and offered the game for completely free. I didn't really understand why, until I realized that he subscribed to my channel. Well, I just got the template for completely free. Big respect for that guy, he was so nice. However, this video is about me buying a failed game and turning it around, so I will pay him the full price. If I got the game for completely free, it would ruin the point of this challenge, so here goes my 10,000 Robux. Alright, now let's get to work. I need to figure out how I'm going to make this viral, and I think I got the perfect plan. What I'm going to do is turn this concept into something more trendy. That alone should attract way more players, but I'm also going to add many improvements. I started by plugging in my own framework. I had to go over nearly every single script, but in the future it'll make my life easier. It's the first day of me developing this game and it's already past midnight. I successfully implemented my framework, and before I get some sleep I want to say something. I absolutely hate this new UI. It's the next day and I don't know what Roblox was thinking. This new UI is so confusing. Anyways, I found a way to get it back and continued on implementing my framework. This game has a bunch of animations, but I can't really use them. They're uploaded on the sellers group, so I need new ones. You know I can't animate, so I asked my friend for some help. Okay, so I'm finally done implementing my own framework, and it took me way too much time. As you can see, it has my classic UI animation. I mean, I didn't really have to do this, since the existing framework wasn't that bad. However, in the future, it'll make my life easier. I already mentioned this before. I did a bad job writing this video script. Now let me change the lighting. There we go, it already looks a lot better. The next thing that I want to do is redesign the UI. I made the concept in Photoshop. Then I redesigned every single frame. This took a while. I also need new vectors, and for that, let me use ChatGPT. Yeah, this is not something that I'm looking for. I strictly said no outline. I guess ChatGPT isn't the smartest. Neither am I. I tried modifying this vector myself. I continued on to remake the UI and add new buttons. Half a day later, I'm finally done remaking the UI. It looks way better, but nothing functions anymore. I can't even open the shop. I got a lot of work to do. One by one, I rewrote all of the necessary scripts and made them work using the new UIs. Alright, so I'm done re-scripting the UIs, and as you can see, everything works. I can teleport to the shop, to my plot, I can open the store, rebirth, and etc. I also slightly remade some of these billboard UIs. Now I want to focus on the map. Each player will have their own plot. I don't really like how these look, so I remade them. I built this factory themed house, and honestly, it fits the build very well. I pretty much deleted the rest of the map and finished decorating the plot. I changed this highway to an island and added 3 leaderboards. For the cherry on top, I added these conveyors and overall improved the look of this map. It's still missing something, and it's some 3D models. I hopped on a 3D modeling software called Blender and made a wind turbine. I accidentally broke Blender. I don't know how, but I deleted the whole workplace. I can't even select these models. I don't even know what I pressed on my keyboard. That's what happens if you use too much Blender. I decorated the map with these wind turbines, and I did something special. After nearly a full day of work, I'm finally done with this map. And I have to say, I'm proud of it. I try to pay attention to all of these small details by adding these grass blocks and also these flowers. And to make this map feel more alive, I added these wind turbines, which fit the theme perfectly. Animations like these can really make your game feel more alive. Also, what's this grass block right here? I guess I forgot to remove it. I want to add multiple plot levels. Right now, when rebirthing, you don't really get much, so this could be a nice addition. My friend got back with the animations, and honestly, they look clean. I rescripted the plot system to work with the current setup. I pretty much had to go over the entire system, so this took a while. Back to these lightsabers. I changed the sound effects, otherwise they just wouldn't work. Okay, so I'm still trying to make this work. The biggest problem is that these scripts have fixed values, which means you can't really add more of these pads or more of these shredders. I'm trying to rescript the entire system, but it has over 800 lines of code. I'm just kind of stuck here. I decided to ask someone for help. I can't do this on my own. In the meantime, I made this model. It's supposed to be the first part of a hydraulic press. Yeah, this game is going to be about squishing items. The old system used blades, and they came in a bunch of variants. I pretty much just copied them and added a couple new ones. Then for each one, I made an icon. This piece of metal won't work on its own, so I animated it. I just got done scripting, and now instead of blades, this game has these hydraulic presses. Let me pick up this car and throw it in. As you can see, these blades start moving together, and once they're done, they go back to the starting position. Anyways, it's time to get the secret assets that'll make this game go viral. Before I do that, let me make a settings frame. Here you can adjust the sound volume, music volume, and also choose to turn on or turn off the notifications. I pretty much just copy and pasted this system from one of my other games. Anyways, let me finally get those secret assets. I'm very confident that these will make my game go viral, and they're brain rots. Yeah, I can't believe I'm adding them, but if you take a look at the front page, they're everywhere. Steal a brain rot, Plants vs brain rots. Wait, what? There's even brain rot royale? This seems to be the new trend, and I think I have slept on it. So I want to give this a shot. However, there's a problem. I don't have any brain rot models, and I don't know how to rig them. I scrolled through Twitter and tried finding a good brain rot pack. There were a couple good ones, but they're very old. I messaged a lot of people, and I couldn't find anything that works for me. I will get the pack later. For now, I made a group rewards UI. This is a really good way to boost your game's like ratio and get those favorites. And just like that, Rebirth should work as well. Here you can see all of the rewards and also the items that you need in order to rebirth. Let me find myself a grey golf. There we go, I should be able to rebirth. Let's go, I got the upgraded plot, the higher strength multiplier and also a bigger money multiplier. I hope there will be no bugs. A minute later, the system completely broke down. I tried to fix this myself, but I decided to hire someone instead. I think this guy can do it. I finally found a good brain rot pack, and let's just say it wasn't cheap. The pack looks really good, but I found a big problem. These are all in a single mesh, which means I can't really split them. This kind of ruins the purpose of my game, but I think I can figure something out. I should have checked this before buying. I tend to do first and then think. Anyways, I created the billboard UI that'll display the cash per second, strength, name, and etc. Currently, the game spawns items on the server. It can cause unnecessary lag, so I moved them on the client. I think I forgot to turn on my mic. I don't remember what I was doing here. These brain rots came with animations, so I wrote a script that'll play them. I also commissioned my animator for an idle and throw animation. I just got done scripting these brain rots, and I don't know why they keep falling over. Like, what the f is this? Anyways, I also added mutations, which means it can also spawn golden ones. These will give you more strength and money. I got many more mutations. However, I will save these for future updates. I fixed the upside down spawning issue with this single line of code. It's time to improve the monetization. There are plenty of game passes, but this game is lacking microtransactions. I won't go crazy, spamming the whole screen with developer products, but instead add a cash boost. This is the perfect way to increase the payer conversion rate. Even with all of these improvements, my games still somehow struggle with monetization. Scripting the cash boost was really easy, since I have done it before. Okay, so now the coin boost should work. If I go ahead and buy it, I should get a bigger cash boost. There we go, they give you 20% more cash now. Also, my scripter was able to fix the rebirth system. Now if you rebirth while your items are shredding, you shouldn't have any problems. Next up, I made an icon for each brain rot. In the meantime, I hired someone to make sound effects. This is how they turned out. I think they're satisfying enough. I configured each brain rot by assigning its image ID, chance, rarity, and etc. I just got done configuring all of these brain rots, and honestly, I don't even know the names for half of these. All I know that this is Berber Patapin, this is some kind of mango guy, and for the rest of these, I don't know. This looks like a Jupiter cow to me. Some of them were still falling over, until I realized that I forgot to anchor them. This game came with a golden event. I slightly modified it and created an icon for my developer product. I also added the admin panel. I can trigger events here as well. As you can see, I just started the golden event. I also made the server lock work and all of these passes. I think this game is ready for release. Well, not yet. I don't have any thumbnails. I hopped on Blender, created the scene and started rendering. I also created the scene in Studio and made another version. I got two thumbnails right here. One was made in Roblox Studio, another was made in Blender. And honestly, in terms of quality, they're both the same, except for the fact that this one took 2 times longer to make. I think I'm going to be sticking with thumbnails that are made in Studio. It's way easier to make them. I think I'm ready to release now. Nope, let's do some testing first. Yo, where is everybody? There is not a single soul in this game. I'm alone again. A little bit later, my testers joined and found a bunch of bugs. Hopefully, I fixed them. Alright, it's time for the fun stuff. Advertising. I spent 6,700 plus 138 Robux and launched the first campaign. I don't know why, but every single time I release a game, it's filled with bugs. I stopped the campaign and quickly fixed them. By quickly, I mean a couple hours. I'm really tired. I will see you tomorrow. I was so tired that I slept for over 12 hours. However, the problems didn't stop here. Look at all of these errors. There's over 5 million. This is crazy. There's something wrong with the plot controller. This error had an easy fix. All I did was add a safety check. I tried to boost my game's payer conversion rate by buying my own products. I'm curious to see if this will work. I decided to launch another ad. I think it was for around 4,000 Robux. The first ad recently stopped running, and to be honest, the stats aren't that good. It has a click-through rate of 2.26%. I like to aim for 3% and above. Maybe these thumbnails are default, so I made a new one. After that, I bought more ad credits and launched the third campaign. I'm really starting to go in depth. I just woke up and I found about a massive problem. I have lost over 700 players because they simply got kicked. There's something wrong with the plot system that makes the players get kicked. I basically just wasted all of the Robux that I spent on these ads. I don't know how these bugs go through testing. The issue was that this function waited for the player. However, it's called when the player leaves, so it left the system in an endless waiting stage. It's time to make the first update. I'm going to add 3 more brain rots. To get as much players as possible, I created an event. I spent 2,600 on ad credits and launched another campaign. I will check the results tomorrow. I think there's something wrong with these ads. Lately, Roblox has had problems with the analytics, but I think sponsorships are broken as well. How does this ad, which spent 8 ad credits, get 55 hours of playtime? But this one, which spent 2 times more, only get 9. I run these at 32 ad credits each, and it barely even spends half of it. Once again, I spent more Robux and launched the 4th or 5th ad campaign. I noticed that my game had a bad like ratio. It's mostly related to the bugs, but I think I can improve it. I reworked the group rewards system. This way, it's way more accessible. Now, group rewards should be way more noticeable. I think people just didn't really see them. I mean, who wouldn't want to click on something that says free? I also reworked the starter pack, but for some reason, it's not showing up. I forgot to mention that update 1 is live. However, barely anyone joined, because no one really saw the event. For update 2, I'm going to add this stand. I scripted it to prompt you an invite to join the next update. I have noticed that many popular games do this, so this should work. This update will have a new diamond event. Let me show you how it turned out. This event turned out to be so good. Look at all of these effects. And the best part is that I can trigger the golden event as well. It'll spawn golden and diamond brain rots. I mean, this admin abuse looks like nothing crazy, but it's better than nothing. I'm still new to this. Back in the day, I used to make simulators. I made an icon for every single brain rot. I haven't checked my campaigns in a while. Once again, the ad is about to stop running, and it hasn't even spent all of my ad credits. Like, what am I even paying for? I know, I can use them in the future, but I need them right now. Also, this thumbnail ended up crushing all the other ones, with a click-through rate of 2.81%. It was definitely worth it to make it. Marketing a game is all about testing, analyzing the data, and making improvements. This game is making me pretty much nothing, so I tried to boost conversion again. Currently, the game is hovering over a couple players. I will wait a few days and see what happens. All of the ads have fully stopped running, and the results could be a little bit better. They did get a lot of clicks and a lot of playtime, but let me show you the player count. The game is sitting at 11 players, which is really bad. The thing is, I don't understand why. I have had games with much worse stats, and they performed significantly better. Look at the qualified playthrough rate, it's almost in the 90th percentile. And now let me see if I made any money back. Yeah, I quit. In total, the game managed to make 970 Robux. I think I spent way more than that. First of all, I need to find a mobile game. I looked through my phone, and the only thing that I could find was Clash Royale. I could go with Clash, it's a really good game, but guess what? It's already been done. Someone has made a remake of Clash Royale and Clash of Clans in Roblox. So this idea won't really work. Either way, Clash has decent ads, so I can't really call it fake. Luckily, I know where to look. I know a site where my little sister plays games, and it's a goldmine. There are hundreds of mobile games, and some of them have questionable ads. I couldn't really find anything good until I came across this. I don't really want to make a brain rot game, but it has a really nice concept. Basically, you have to chop down these trees to get materials. Then you can use them to build brain rots. And that's pretty much it. I think this could do really well. Now that I know what I'm going to make, let's get to work. I started by creating a group and opened the new base plate. One thing that I always change is the lighting. It makes the game look way better. If we take a look at this game, it doesn't really have much progression. So that's why I'm going to add merchants. I started by creating a hut. I made one for blueprints, another for backpack capacity. Each player will have their own plot. To indicate who owns it, I added this sign. I also built these paths and polished up the plot. I just got done with the plot, and it's definitely one of my simplest designs. However, it might be my favorite. Oftentimes, simple is more. I can decide which version is better for the blueprints. The transparent one or the one with the highlight. Let me know down below. I ended up going with the transparent one, because there is a limit of 31 highlights. If you didn't already know, my games always use a framework. I copied it from one of my other experiences and simply pasted it in the new one. I still had to modify a bunch of scripts, but it's way easier than starting from scratch. I found these sick particles, you'll see why I need them in a second. I'm done scripting the plot system and I didn't really have to do much. I took it from one of my other games. However, I spent quite a bit of time on this like system. It turned out really satisfying. I think this will be a nice addition. To be honest, I took inspiration from Grow a Garden. I started working on a group reward system. It's a great way to get new members. Sadly, there was a bug. Luckily, it was just one line of code. Okay, now it should work. Let's go. After that, I moved on to the UI. Usually, I go with almost the same style, so this time I want to do something different. And just like that, I'm done with these two UIs. They took me way too much time because I couldn't find the right texture for these studs. And you might wonder why they look identical. It'll have the same concept, but this one is for backpacks and this one will be for blueprints. Now it was time to script. I made a system for blueprints and backpacks. I also began adding some UI elements. It's really late, but I'm finally done with the blueprint shop. Well, sort of. You can go ahead and interact with this fish and he will open the shop. You have the option to buy each one of these for Robux or cash. Anyways, there's still some work to do, but for now, I really want to go to bed. My sleep schedule doesn't exist anymore. Anyways, I scripted the server side, which will allow you to purchase a blueprint. I also wrote a function that is going to be used for selling items. More about that later. I need to think of a great way to display the required blocks. I tried using a billboard UI, but it didn't want to scale properly. You know what, I will fix this later. Right now I made a system that will allow you to place the blueprint and it should save it to the data store. And just like that, I'm done scripting the basics. You can go ahead and purchase any template that you want, and it actually gets added to your inventory. You can also place it on one of these pads. When I rejoin, it should be still here. Yo, let's go, the data works. I honestly don't know what I was doing here. Was I showing off my skin or a new bug? Oh, now I remember. The game wasn't working because streaming was enabled. I asked my man ChatGPT to generate me a block vector. I think this will work. I decided to show the progress with this UI. I think this is more practical than the old version. Now it was time to script it. I mostly use tween service. Yeah, this might be a problem. However, I was able to easily fix it and finish scripting the system. It's been a minute and I'm done scripting the basics of this system. For testing purposes, you can only complete it with Robux for now. But once you do, you get the full brain rot. Everything saves as well. I just need to do the visual port. First of all, I fixed the proximity prompts. Then I made an opening animation. Now if you go ahead and finish the blueprint, there will be this nice animation. Either way, I'm going to hire someone to make some satisfying sound effects. It'll make this process feel way more rewarding. Sound effects are really important. Without them, your game feels empty. It's time to add the trees. I made a spawn area and build the base model. That's all I really need, because I'm going to change the color with scripts. In the mobile game, you chop down trees with your hands. I want to do something different. I hopped on a 3D modeling software called Blender and made an X model. I just got done scripting the tree system. It's really smooth, and when you're going to chop them, it'll play this nice animation. This is all done on the client, so there's no lag. I don't know from where, but I have this idle animation. However, I don't think I'm going to use it. I need something better. I asked my friend for some help. While he does his magic, I animated the trees. There might be some bugs. Why are the leaves so big? Also, the X is facing my direction. This isn't safe. I fixed it by rotating the handle. Then I added a bunch of new variants. I'm also fully done with the system and it's pretty satisfying. I'm addicted to chopping these trees. Also, you might be wondering what's this red box. It's the hitbox and it's visible because I turned on debugging. I wrote a script that's going to update the info GUI. After I was done, I improved the shop. I made a lot of improvements. One of them is this counter above my head. Each player will have a maximum capacity of the blocks that they can collect. I also fully finished the blueprint shop. Look at how clean these animations look. I took it from Boxing Stars. Till this day, it's still my favorite game. The build brain rots will earn you money, so I added the billboard UI that shows your income. Scripting it was pretty straightforward. Now you can earn money from your brain rots, and they should make money offline as well. I also want to make a feature where others can help you fill out your blueprints. Making a game playable with friends is a really important thing. The algorithm rewards games that are fun to play with friends. Let me remake some parts of the UI. I added the section for blocks and a couple icons. Then I designed a button and finished creating the UI. It's time to make more tools. I made a stick, axe, sickle, and many other tools. Using Substance Painter, I added custom textures. It's been around a day and I'm finally done with all of these tools. The texturing process took me so much time, but at least these turned out pretty good. Especially these last ones, they look so good. To be honest, I haven't used Substance Painter in a while. Modeling isn't the only thing that I have to do. For each tool, I have to make an icon. Now you might wonder, how will you obtain tools? Very simple, through chests. I modeled and colored 4 tiers. Don't get me wrong, these chests look great, but I just realized this game uses so many different styles. These chests are in the stud style, some of these tools are low poly. I need to choose a single style, why am I using so many? I scripted the system that'll save and load the chests. Then I made a billboard UI that'll show the progress. Currently, I can only use a single tool. I didn't want to script a whole new system, so I asked Taya for some help. This thing worked so well. Inside the shop, you can purchase 4 different chests. Okay, there's a visual bug with the luck boost, but anyways, let's buy this chest. It should work. I nearly crashed my computer. I forgot to add task.wait. Okay, now it should work. Let me wait until this chest opens. For some reason, it's inverted. This system works, but there is no excitement, so I need to add some visuals. First of all, let me rotate these chests. Then I made a brand new UI, forgot to record me scripting it, and this is how it turned out. Looks satisfying enough. I began making an inventory UI, but shortly after, ditched this design. I forgot to record me scripting this, but now there's an inventory for tools. I can equip any tool that I want, and it automatically gets cloned into my inventory. I'm not sure how to calculate this speed yet. Imagine a guy having a 1000 speed sword and completely chopping this forest down. It's time to add the brain rots, and let me tell you, configuring them wasn't fun at all. Once I was done, I created the hill model and began building the map. I wanted to playtest it, and just look what happened. Oh shit, I forgot to anchor the map. I don't know if I will ever remember to anchor things. Anyways, I decorated the map, and for the cherry on top, added leaderboards. I just got done building the map, and except for the fact that these leaderboards are not anchored, it looks pretty good. I also added this index. I'm not sure how I'm going to make this work, but I'll figure it out. From what I've noticed, popular games tend to use simpler and simpler maps. I mean, I get why people do this. Making a simple map is cheap and doesn't take much time. A lot of you guys say that my games used to be better, and that's true. My focus is more on making bigger and better videos. I'm going off topic right now, let's return to developing. I designed the rebirth's frame and wrote a script that's going to make it function. I just got done scripting the rebirths and also index. As you can see, the rewards don't really fit inside of this frame. I think I need to make it bigger. However, the index works perfectly fine. This game will probably have 3 different mutations, but that will change in the future. I don't remember making an index, but I guess it's there. It was time to configure each brain rot. This process is so boring. I realized that this game has 0 monetization. Let me change that. I designed the shop frame, then in Photoshop I made a game pass. This is when I remembered about my old game. It had a spin the wheel. This could be great for monetization. I brought back the spin the wheel. I haven't used it since Roblox Simulator 2. This was my first actual game that brought me some success. Maybe this will finally end my monetization curse. The game is pretty much done. I can't think of anything else to add. I can start designing thumbnails. Let me show you how I do it. Step 1. Make the scene in Studio. Step 2. Take a screenshot. Step 3. Go in Photoshop and add effects. Step 4. Repeat this process for around 3 to 5 thumbnails. And just like that, I'm done with these thumbnails. This time I went all in. I made 4 versions in total. You can never make enough thumbnails. Out of all of these, I think this one will perform the best. It's simple and perfectly shows the whole gameplay. I don't want to spoil anything, but I ended up being wrong. Surely, I can publish the game now. Nope, they're still testing. We joined the game and it was absolutely cooked. I fixed all of the bugs and added many improvements. For more progression, I made 2 new base levels. Hopefully this will encourage players to grind more. After nearly a day of scripting, all of the bugs should be fixed. Apart from that, I also added many improvements. One of them is this tutorial. It exactly shows the player what they need to do. Another thing that I added is events. Every 30 minutes there's going to be a random event. I think the game is finally ready for release. I made the final thumbnail. We tested the game one last time and it has bugs. Okay, now with confidence I can say that this game is completed. It's time to launch ads. I started with something light, minus 4,000 Robux. Let's go, the first ad is live. I'm going to patiently wait for my first player. After 30 minutes, someone already joined. Yo, we got our first players, let's go. This guy's already grinding. The players seem to really enjoy this game. Some have already upgraded their sword. The start looks really promising. It was, until I realized the leaderboards were broken. However, there was an even bigger problem. No, I'm so stupid, I forgot to change the server size. It should be only 6. I don't know how I forgot about this. This is a bit off topic, but while I wait for the ad results, let me show you how I designed the thumbnail for this video. It's pretty late, but the first ad is about to stop running. It's actually doing pretty well. It has a click-through rate of 2.34%. Anyways, I really want some sleep right now. It's the next day, and guess what I did? I launched another ad campaign. This one costed me around 3,000 Robux. While I was at school, my friend found a huge bug. This server is fine, but there were servers where there were 0 green trees. This happens because the trees don't despawn. Eventually you're going to run out of them. I need to fix this. I fixed it by making the trees despawn. It's time to launch another ad. I spent 6,000 Robux, and shortly after, this happened. This is deja vu, it happened with my other game as well. Over 100 players! I think this is mostly because I just launched a new ad, but this is still insane. I don't understand how it got 100 players, because a minute later, they were all gone. Thumbnails were doing good, but the other stats? Yeah, not so well. I tried making my game easier, because I heard from other players that it's too hard. I manually buffed each brain rot. Let me try to make the first update. Maybe that'll attract more players. Damn, this took me half a day, but I'm done with the first mini update. Well, this update is actually a promotion of an even bigger update. I reconfigured every single brain rot and added 2 new colors. I decided to launch another ad. I waited a couple of days and checked out the results. The last ad is about to stop running, and honestly, I don't know what's wrong with them. It barely spends any of my ad credits. This has to be a problem with Roblox. The click-through rate is the lowest out of all of these campaigns. And if we take a look at the stats, I don't know what to say about them. These are the worst stats I have ever gotten in my life. And if we go ahead and go over to the monetization tab, we can see that this game has made 238 Robux. This is in the last 72 hours. In total, it has made 631. The conclusion is that this game failed, and I lost a lot of money. Here we go, it's day 1. When I said that I have no experience with making tycoons, I wasn't lying. I remember playing them, but never had the courage to make one. First of all, I need an idea. I scrolled through the front page and found about this game. You won't believe how many players it has. Wait, what? 44,000 players? No way, it even has an AI thumbnail. This is crazy. This gave me even more motivation. I played a couple more tycoons, and finally I got an idea. Let me design a plan. Okay, here's the game plan. There are going to be 6 islands, and each player will have their own island. You'll be able to upgrade them and then buy ships. And you'll be able to use them to visit other people's islands. And maybe I will add something in the middle, I don't know. To be honest, I don't even know why I drew this, I usually just freestyle. You know the drill, I started by opening a new base plate and fixed the lighting. Once I was done with that, I created the big ocean. I found this texture pack and began creating the main island. What's next? Buttons. A tycoon without buttons isn't a tycoon. I hopped on a 3D modeling software called Blender and made my own button. In Studio, I added the billboard UI that'll display its name and price. I didn't want to script today, so I'll see you tomorrow. It's day 2 and I began making the main system. I just got done scripting the basics and I don't know why this took me half a day. Anyways, you should be able to expand your island. And if you don't have enough coins, this button won't work. Let me give myself more cash and it will turn green. And the best part is that if I leave right now, when I join back, everything should load. All of the hard work is pretty much done. I can start doing the fun stuff. First of all, I added a conveyor. Then I hopped inside of Blender, made some rocks and a palm tree. So I'm done making a couple of assets, and I know, this definitely won't be enough for the Wall Tycoon. And you might wonder, why only some of them are textured? It's way easier to color these in Studio, and it takes less time. The only reason I colored these rocks is because I wanted to make them look special. The other reason was that I could save a bunch of time. Each Tycoon has droppers, and they drop something. Mine will drop fruits. I definitely didn't steal them from my other game. I got exciting news. I reworked my channel memberships. Here's what you get as a member. First of all, you'll get access to my Blender tutorial. This is already worth more than the price. Second, you get an exclusive role in my Discord server. Third, priority reply to comments. Don't worry, I will always pick you first. You also get a bunch of cool emojis that you can use in the comment section. Thank you for even considering this. I hope to see you here. I don't know what I was trying to do here. I guess there was a bug or something. I began scripting the ATM and all of the droppers. The hardest part is getting the balancing right. This time, let me try using AI. I also made some developer products. After a long day of scripting, I'm done with the droppers, upgraders, and all the other stuff. As you can see, the first dropper is manual, but if you're lazy or just want more money, you can buy an automatic dropper. And then in this ATM, you can collect all of your income. There are also upgraders, which should work, but for some reason, it doesn't look like it's working. Trust me, I fixed them off camera. Anyways, I added a couple more droppers. It's time to expand the island. I added bushes and placed down a couple of trees. I just woke up, which means that it's day 3. I started my day off by modeling a palace. I don't know how to pronounce it. I also made a table and a cocktail. And just like that, I'm done making more models. Honestly, I don't know what this tycoon will really need, so I'm just experimenting. Most of the stuff will be made in Studio, but for some, it's easier to use Blender. I could use Blender for everything, but that takes way more time. I only have 11 days left. I expanded the island by adding a path and a couple more buttons. I want to make things interactive, so I scripted the chair system. Apart from buying buttons, you'll be able to also buy boats, so I built the wooden dock. It's nearly the end of this day, and I can finally say that I have made some progress. Well, ignore the fact that half of this house is missing. But the cool part is that you can sit on these chairs. Well, they're inverted, but that'll be fixed. But apart from that, the plot is looking way better. Let me fix the chairs. I wanted to go to sleep, but then this happened. Wait, what? No way, the game got banned. Luckily, it was a problem with Roblox. I made more progress towards the island. I was on that 6 AM grind. I wrote a script that's going to open and close doors. It's time to build a mansion. I started by adding walls. I pretty much just spent the whole day working, and I cannot express how tired I am. I was able to add a lot of things though. There's a place for another conveyor, and the first floor is already looking somewhat good. Of course, I still have to do a lot of work, but I'll do it tomorrow. I didn't really feel like sleeping that night, so I hopped on Blender and made a bunch of furniture. And just like that, I'm done with these laundry room assets. I just realized that I will have to make way more assets, because I'm only halfway done with the house. It's day 5, and I managed to crash Studio. Great. I'm pretty much done with the first floor. I built a staircase that'll lead to the next one. Okay, so it's been some time, and apart from me completing the first floor, I also added the day and night cycle. Honestly, I don't even know why. However, I will probably make your plot look cool at night and figure out something cool. I got an idea of adding a tennis court. What's a private island without one? I have this secret game, and luckily it has a court. I copied it, and let me say, It fits perfectly. Next up, I added ceiling lights. I want them to be interactive, so I wrote a script for a light switch. Currently, I'm not in the main game, I'm in a testing place. Anyways, with this simple light switch, you'll be able to turn on and turn off all the lights. This can be used to troll your friends. Imagine walking through the house, and then somebody just turns off the lights. That's scary. I added walls for the second floor and began decorating the inside. I hopped on Blender again and made more furniture. This was enough to complete the kitchen. Now comes the hardest part, the roof. I tried to make it in Studio, but it just looked horrible. I decided to make it in Blender, and it ended up being not so bad. I'm finally done with this roof. I don't know why it took me half a day. It's literally dark outside. From the outside it looks pretty good. However, the inside, yeah, I don't know what the is this. I always struggle with making roofs. I don't know how to make them look good. Okay, maybe it wasn't that good, but this'll do the trick though. I want to add cars, and honestly, I don't know how to make one. I found this template made by Roblox, and it's really smooth. I scripted the spawner and modeled my own car. I mean, it kind of works, but it's a little bit cursed. I don't know why the front wheel is always turning. This template was good, but it was also really hard to customize. I came across this template on the dev forum. It ended up being the one that you usually see in the toolbox, so I decided to not use it. That's it, I'm making my own system. It's nearly 1 AM, I wanted to go to sleep 2 hours ago, but at least I'm finally done with this car. The controls are questionable, but I mean, this is a tycoon. I don't really know how to make good cars. Here we go, day 7. I got straight to work and made a working Lambo. Remember me talking about boats? Well, it's finally time to make them. I started by making a boat's UI. Then I hopped on Blender and made a rowboat. I also made a speedboat. Okay, so I'm done with these boats, and for now there will be only 7. I don't think this game needs more. After all, it's a tycoon. Let me import these in Studio and add some textures. I don't know what was happening in Studio. The boats were flying. I should have paid attention in physics classes. I somehow broke the camera system and I could see myself in 4 dimensions. I asked my friend to help me with this boat system. My friend got back to me with the boat system and it works. It's nothing crazy and ultra realistic, but I'd say it's pretty smooth. For a tycoon, this is more than enough. I still had to make the dock work, so I wrote a script for that. For each boat, I took a screenshot and made an icon. I hopped back on Blender and made a slide. And with that, day 7 was over. Good morning. I started my day off by making a grill, and let me tell you, it didn't go as planned. This might be too much smoke. I don't want this house to set on fire. I expanded the island, added a maze, a fountain, and many more assets. And just like that, I'm pretty much done with this tycoon. I want to show you this maze. Once you enter, you're locked in first person, and you only have 60 seconds to complete it. I used the same exact maze in one of my old games. Let's see if I remember the pattern. And there's the exit. I needed to set this up for multiple plots. I think it's finally time to make some UI. To be honest, I need a reverse vector, and my designer left me undelivered. Let me ask my good old friend for some help. ChatGPT. Come on, what even is this? AI has gotten a lot worse. It can even generate a proper vector. I ended up modifying it and using it. Let me show you how this rebirth system works. As soon as you hit 100%, you can go ahead and rebirth. You will lose all of your progress, but get some cash and get a bigger cash boost. Also, you will keep all of your Robux buttons. Speaking about Robux, I designed a shop. It'll only have 4 game passes. And just like that, I'm done with the shop. It's nothing crazy. There's a section for game passes and cash packs. I also added some products around the map. You can get a speed coil or a gravity coil. I don't know why this one costs 0 Robux. I forgot to make it on sale. I got straight to work and made another boat. It's a kayak and you'll be able to get it through a starter pack. I made a UI for it, and let me show you how it works. I'm getting closer and closer to releasing this game. I just got done with the starter pack and it only shows up as you progress. It's a little bit glitchy, but I can easily fix that. If I go ahead and buy it, it should give me 50,000 cash, any kayak. Well, it didn't really work. Shit. I easily fixed it though. Now I have to configure every single upgrade. This pretty much took me the entire day. That took a while. Once I was done, I added the tutorial. And just like that, I'm done setting up the final things. One of them is this tutorial, which is pretty straightforward. I also added this info button. It's supposed to show where the next button is. For some reason, it doesn't seem to work. This is how it should work. I can finally start making the thumbnails. I took a picture of the island and modified it in Photoshop. I made a couple more thumbnails and also this icon. Alright, so I'm done with the thumbnails and they're pretty similar to the ones that I usually make for my stud games. But these ones are a lot more simple. I'm not sure how well these are going to work. One of the most important things in these thumbnails is that this game has offline progression. I was about to publish this game, but I couldn't. I got a great idea of adding a tsunami. Oh my god, this tsunami is going to crash my computer in real life. There are thousands of parts. Don't worry about that, I fixed it. I almost forgot to set up the other plots. It's time for testing. Let's just say I wasn't happy. Yo, why there are so many bugs? Oh god, I have a long day of work ahead. I spent the rest of my day fixing all of these bugs. It's pretty much been the whole day, but I'm finally done fixing these bugs. I also made sure to do a lot of testing, because usually my games still have a ton of bugs, and my monitor is telling me to take a break. I woke up and decided to decorate the island. I wanted to try out the speedboat, and yeah, I don't know what happened. This is when I decided to remake the boat system. It might not be as fun as it was, but it's way smoother now. I mean, this game isn't really about boats, but I still want the system to feel great. We did more testing. The conclusion is that the game is too hard. I asked Gemini to help me with balancing. Okay, now for real, all of the bugs should be fixed. I swear, if there's going to be one more bug, I'm going to break this monitor. As you can see, the game was running smoothly. It was already midnight, but that doesn't stop me from running ads. I spent 4,000 Robux and launched the first campaign. I started my day off by working. To my surprise, a fan was inside of my game. Yo, did I get hacked? What is this guy doing in my game? What? I made a big mistake. Every single member had access to the game. My bad luck didn't stop here. There's a big problem. I think there's a memory leak. I joined and this arrow was pointing to the wrong base. There's something seriously wrong with the code. It took me a while to figure it out, but it was related to the buttons. The first ad is about to stop running, and yeah, the click-through rate isn't that good. It's only 1.69%. But on the bright side, my game has a decent player count. I want to try out something new. I made a dedicated Discord server. Hopefully enough players will join. Once I was done, I spent more Robux and launched the second campaign. It's probably a good idea to start thinking about the first update. Christmas is right around the corner. You already know what I'm going to make. I took some assets from my old game and began creating a bridge. Then I made some Christmas exclusive droppers. I also built a log cabin. This took a while. Whoa, it's already day 13. I hopped straight into Blender and modeled the rocking chair. I just got done with the log cabin and honestly I like how it looks. It's nothing crazy, but look at the inside. It's so cozy in here. Well, except for this one part, let me fix it. I need to figure out what I'm going to add to this island. Sadly, I forgot to record the whole process. Let me just show you the end result. I just got done with the winter area and looks like I forgot to anchor everything. I'm also a little bit sick right now, so I will take a break. Anyways, I'm pretty much done with the winter update. I scripted the system that's going to prompt you an invite. Let's see how many people will sign up for the update. Let me go all in. I spent 8,000 Robux and launched another campaign. In the meantime, the last ad stopped running. The third ad has stopped running, and out of all of these three, it has performed the best. The game only has a couple players, but on the bright side, over 100 people have signed up for the Christmas event. I guess let's launch another one. Here goes 3,000 Robux. I will check out the results tomorrow. It's day 14 and I'm excited to show you the results. It's the next day and I have great news. The game is sitting at over 36 players. It pretty much quadrupled its player count overnight. Also, I'm happy to say that over 200 people have signed up for the Christmas update. I know, probably only half of them will join, but that's still over 100 players. Let me wait another day and see if the player count improves. It's the next day, and the player count, yeah, it crashed down. But I have an explanation for this. Currently it's Monday, so a low player count is expected. Another reason is that the game just hit home recommendations. This means that it's finally in the algorithm. It's also starting to make its first bit of Robux. 1k isn't even that bad. I think I just need to give this game some time. I could wait a couple more days, but I have to upload this video. I will leave a link in the video's description, so you can monitor its performance. I spent a lot of time building this game, and even if it didn't get a crazy amount of players, I still love it. Roblox has shifted its algorithm, so we might need to focus on bigger and better projects. Anyways, I would appreciate if you could smash that subscribe button. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, have a great rest of your day, and peace.